And this is how we roll. We are live, ladies and germs, for... Let's get some DnD music running. Welcome, everybody who is joining us this evening for episode 3 of Paradym's Bold, My DnD campaign. We are a player short this evening. Mr. Neon, aka Aslan, is not able to make it, but that is okay. We have a new player joining us. He was supposed to join us last week, but fell asleep. So we're bringing him in this week. Savage, welcome. Just for a quick introduction to the other players here. Obviously, you know Nutty, and you know Trash Band through the streaming and everything else. Hit, aka Baz, my brother, is the other player. He's running the campaign I just died in. Sorry about that. Liar. He did it with a smile on his face too. It was kind of creepy. But
smiles, you know you're in trouble.
Exactly.
I'm expecting nothing less tonight.
I don't think we'll quite go that far. I'll try my hardest, but. Anyway, without further ado, we are going to recap from last fortnight's episode and get into it. So welcome to those in the chat. We do this every second Sunday. It's in the description. Between each episode I run reruns from the previous episode. We also upload to YouTube, so go check out those places as well. All the links are in the description below. But yes, let's get this started. Recap from last week's episode. You all returned to Valond after successfully completing your first trial. Along the road home you met Josham Peddler, the roadside peddler, who sold you a bag. It turned out to be a magical bag. You returned to the Guildmaster Riffin, where you received payment for your first trial, and deciding to return to the Squirrel and the Hydra, where you proceeded to eat and drink, and some drank more than others. Soon Alessandros was passed out drunk, face down in the food. Het put on a stellar display of bardic skills, wowing the inn's patrons and earning a little bit of respect in that particular inn from people that generally don't see Dragonborn very often. A little while later, Neymaris destroyed an inn door, stormed virtually naked through the inn and out into the night, with Aslan and Het soon in tow. All the while, Alessandros passed out drunk, snoring her head off in the room. They then returned to the guild, where you received your second trial, where you are about to set off to the Howling Mountains in search of a rare ore called Orcrillium, which is only found in the Howling Mountains. You need to bring X amount of that ore back to the guild to complete your second contract. You've got 7 days to do so. You went, before you left, or before you get ready to leave, you were headed to the Arcanist Paradym to identify the bag, which turns out to be the Wraith Saddlebag, which, at all intents and purposes for those that are in the D&D, is my version of a bag of holding. So a magical bag that holds lots of shit.
Oh, that's right. I can't put bio stuff in.
No,
the bag,
so nothing living can survive in the bag. You can put bio stuff in there, but it'll still rot, basically. So this is basically where we pick up our story. You were just pretty much leaving the Arcanist Paradym, ready to start your journey. Upon getting to the doorway, you guys notice that Aslan's just not been himself since the night before. And he turns to you and says, my friends, I'm really sorry I cannot travel with you on this adventure. I have some personal business that I must attend. I will go see Riffin and explain, and hopefully we can come to some form of arrangement. And he sort of bids you guys farewell with a low bow, very respectful as Aslan does, and then moves on towards where he will find Riffin. So you are without Aslan, unfortunately.
Alexander races up ahead. Quick, let's grab him. Time up.
You want to try and time up? We want to try and catch him first.
Looks at the pair of you and goes, well,
we might need to. He has the writ that we need to do our job, does he not?
Yes, he
Oh,
does.
he does. Yes, so you might want to catch up to him.
Yeah, better do that.
I just
I-
grab him by the shoulder and say, "Excuse me 1 second. I think you've got something we need, my."
And Master Aslan turns and says, "Oh yes, sorry," and reaches in and grabs the bag that he was given for you guys to carry your quest item back, which also has the contract, the contract you need to complete your quest.
Well, I'm not holding on to this, boys. I think one of you, boys and girls, I think one of you two better take it, because I could probably lose it.
You can carry it.
Yes, Hit will carry it. Thank you for the offer.
I pass it over to Hit.
Hit stashes the bag within his backpack.
Awesome. Everyone in the chat too, just before we carry on, is everyone's voices coming through okay? I know Nutty was, or Namaris has been a little quiet last couple of episodes, so if you're not hearing someone in the chat, just over the music or anything else, let me know so I can make any adjustments. That would be greatly appreciated. So you've got your contract. You're pretty much ready to go. You pretty much, it's up to you. What are you wanting to do?
What time of day is it, please?
It was morning time. Like, you left the inn after your night's experiences. As say, Namaris, you didn't really get a very good sleep at all after obviously your sleepwalking incident. So you all got good rest and everything else, but it was very restless for you. Aslan, Alchandros woke up with a pretty nasty headache, but was well rested. Aslan obviously didn't rest very well, and you've seen that on his face this morning, and you can see that he's just not with it. He's relatively sort of really distracted and not focused on the task at hand. And Hit slept pretty well. For just a Dragonborn, he slept pretty well anyway.
Can I just turn to the guys and say, well, I think maybe we should go to the dragon stables and maybe pick up some horses?
Seems like a good plan.
So off to the Dragon Stables. So as you head towards Dragon Stables, you agree. Well, not agree. You almost chased down. You hear someone calling out, saying, "Excuse me." Sort of. You turn around. You see this slim, sort of elven gentleman, sort of running and sort of waving at you guys. Running up the street. You're not sure if he's waving at you or waving at someone, but it's just he's loudly waving and sort of calling. Runs right up to and stops, and basically he's now, you obviously realise now he's chasing you guys down. You're not sure who he is. You've never seen him before. Mr. Savage, would you like to describe your character, please?
Well, Gillian is a half-elf, more human, and he is 5'11", so he's roughly, he's tallish. He's not tall, but
he's short for an elf, but tall for a
size.
human.
Yeah, and he's got brown dreads. He's fair-skinned, just your basic half-elf, just a little more human. So he's about 24 years old,
So he's young. His clothing, he's wearing a dark woodland cloak with red trim.
Yep.
Dark
and,
leather boots.
With a unicorn on them.
Yeah, so there's a red embroidered unicorn on the outside top of each of his. It's almost like a riding style boot. So they're quite a high thigh boot. Hey Reaper, what's up? And an oddly well groomed thin beard, which is unusual for a half elf as well. It's so he's definitely more human than he is elf, because elves don't generally grow beards or moustaches. So he has a very, very thin. It's well groomed, but it's very thin. It's not thick. It's not like it's really long. It's quite short, but it's very well groomed, and he looks like he's well groomed as well. He's not dirty or unkempt or anything like that.
Hit looks to him and says, "So, you're chasing us down, or are you looking for someone else?"
Well, Riffin told me of a group of adventurers that I was to join.
Riffin, eh?
Indeed.
Well, he described us then.
Well,
He did.
he described a large lady.
I hope you're not looking at me.
Well,
What do you mean by large? Are you
tall,
calling me?
strong.
Nice comeback.
Awesome.
I look him up and down and go, "That's right, boy. Just do be careful what you're saying to the young ladies."
You're starting to get quiet again, Nutty.
Right.
We heard you.
Ouch.
Just you start. Don't breathe into your microphone.
Alright.
You're getting a little
He
too
reaches his hand
soft
forward.
spoken. That's all.
Het reaches his hand forward and, in presenting it to Gillian, and says, "Well, hello, Gillian. Then, if you're to join us, I am Het."
So basically, you guys want to introduce your characters to him. Describe your characters as well. Unless
Okay.
you want me to do it.
No problemo.
Can I do a perception check and see where his coin purse is?
You can roll a d20. Roll a perception.
Yeah, he's got it well hidden.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 6.
A 6. Yeah, you can't see it. You're not sure. You're not sure if he's even got one.
My dice hate me. Damn it.
So, Het, would you describe yourself to Gillian?
Yes, so standing in front of Gillian, shaking his hand right now, is a 6 foot tall, white and silver dragonborn. Presumably male, but you wouldn't be able to tell. I have large, deep black eyes with red irises, and I'm brandishing a black and grey lute. Hangs across my back next to my pack. My armor is just regular leather, but quite stout, and have a lovely voice, as you can tell.
Okay.
And
I
Neymaris?
don't brandish any here.
And Neymaris, would you like to describe yourself to Gillian, please?
Stand next to him and look down at him. I'm 6 foot. A medium size. I've got blue eyes that occasionally you'll notice go a bit funny. I'm, pale skin, red haired. You know what they say about us red-haired girls? We're a bit fiery. And I have this beautiful axe that I like to wield.
It's a great sword, love.
I thought I had an axe.
No, you've got a great sword. Oh no, you have. Sorry, my bad. Your mini's got a great sword. That's why I said that. Damn, fucked up.
Never
I've
argue
got this
with
great,
Neymaris.
great sword axe thing that I have.
Yeah, there you go.
And I some people call me nasty names, but we won't talk about that. Oh, and I'm wearing, nice leather armor, I think.
Do we know
yep.
which that's displayed?
Well, you can do.
I'm wearing nothing that I think I can. I've got good abs.
I'll describe Alessandros because even Alessandros doesn't know what she looks like. Well, she does, but we've sort of. There's nothing actually written down for Alessandros, but I created her. So, again, she's got sort of a deep brown, almost black, sort of mid shoulder length, sort of halfway down her back here. She's young. She looks around 17. She looks human. She has blue-grey eyes, fairly slim build, wearing a cloak and hood, carrying what she looks like she's got a bow on her back, but she's you notice she's got a couple of pretty nice daggers as well. Generally, nothing too much stands out from her. She's quite nondescript, but she always generally hangs out in the background and sort of just hangs back and doesn't really say a whole lot too much. And just quickly, tier 1 sub Reaper, awesome dude, and just giving 2 subs as well. So a gift of tier 1 sub to Rapid Results and to Shay Girls. So Reaper, you're a rock star, man. Thank you so much for those subs, dude. I have put the I'll put them on mute so it doesn't sort of override what we're talking about, but thank you so much, appreciate it. Right, so Riffin, just to recap, Riffin has sent Gillian to you guys as to join your group as part of this trial. The group that he was with basically failed their trial, and Gillian was the only one.
TPK.
Gillian was the only one that returned from that group, so he's added him to your group to complete his trials.
I suppose you can come along with us, just as long as you're nice to people.
So, off to the dragon stables.
Is that because there's dragons in the stable?
No.
Oh, just checking.
Hey, Reaper. Just might add, Shake Girl, you just made cry.
Oh, really? Oh, that's your daughter, isn't it, Trash?
Aw.
On you, Reaper. Yeah, so the dragon stables, obviously Nutty forgot what I told her about the dragon stable.
No, I didn't. I was just waiting for you to let me know.
Yeah, well, explain it to them. He's asked about it, so explain it to him.
Well, right back in the ages, we used to have dragons instead of horses. So when they were happy creatures and didn't go off and do what they wanted to do by themselves, as time went on, they got a bit arrogant, so we had to let a few of them go, and we made the stables into horse stables. So
Essentially, she got it a little bit wrong, but yeah, essentially that's it. They used to have dragon riders before the calamity. Instead of horses, they used dragons, and it was the city of Valond was the home of basically the elite dragon guard. So they were dragon riders, and the dragon stables housed dragons instead of horses.
That kind of explains how my type came along then.
Pretty much.
Dragon riders.
Pretty much. So she got it right. It was pretty good. Well done. But again, your words start to trail off towards as the more you speak, they get quieter and quieter and quieter. It's kind of funny. But anywho, carrying on, you reach the dragon stables, and Neymaris approaches the stable hand, and you procure new horses. You've still got the writ from the head of the guard, which, as Neymaris being a former guardsman, that writ is good for as long as you need it. So you procure your horses, you saddle up, and you set out. Now you've only got a day's travel. So again, up to you guys on the speed of which you travel. If you want to get there quickly, you can run the horses a little bit faster. Chances are you'll miss things along the road if you wanted to go that way. If you just wanted to take it at a general pace, it'll take you pretty much a full day's ride. So
how many days we got to complete it?
You got a week to complete.
Should be good and take a general pace so we don't ruin the horses. What say you, Alessandros?
Yeah, why not?
Yes. And
Have a good one, Reaper.
Gillian,
Thank you.
Agree?
I think that'd be quite good, because it means we can get to know our friend here a bit better on the way.
Good thinking.
Good idea.
Wow.
So, as you leave Valond proper, you're on your horses. What is the marching order? Just quickly, who's leading the expedition? Are you side by side, like 2 by 2, or single file?
2 by 2.
2 by 2. So who's in front?
Het will be at the rear.
I'll be at the front with my friend Alessandros next to me.
Be in the back.
Okay, so we got 2 by 2. That's fine.
As we sort the marching order, I will just ask Gillian, what is your special set of, how we say, abilities? Are you better to ride up front, or are you better at the rear?
Well, I'm an archer of sorts, so the rear seems fitting.
So,
Excellent. Everyone's happy. Alessandros, are you happy with front?
who has dark vision? Who does not?
I do.
Okay, so you're the only one. No one else in the group has dark vision.
We're all
dragons
blind as
don't?
bats.
No, Dragonborns don't have dark vision.
Oh.
Dragonsborn do not have.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm happy to sit up front as I cautiously
Cool.
look at the Mara.
It's alright,
Would you
dear.
like me?
I'm not going to hurt you.
Early, isn't it?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
My bad.
Right, so you sit on your way, and it's going to take you a day, so it's going to be a fairly long ride. If you guys want to talk it out during your ride, have a chat, be my guest, jump in and have conversation wherever. Otherwise, we'll just have you on your travels, traveling along the road. It's a nice day. There's a little bit of cloud in the sky. I mean, it looks like it might possibly rain later in the afternoon. Possibly, you don't know. It's a little bit of cloud cover, nothing too serious. Birds in the sky, you hear the typical stuff. Being a main trade route from Vallond to the likes of Gatton and the border into the next realm, you've got travelling merchants, you've got carts, you've got other people on the road. It's fairly busy this day. A lot of other people just bustling along, and you'll see the occasional city guardsmen in pairs sort of patrolling the road, just try and keep the peace, obviously. So you're heading towards the base of the Howling Mountains as your destination for the evening. Oh, for the day, sorry.
Can you see the map of that, please?
As we ride, Het leans over to Gillian beside him riding beside, and says, so what brings you to the adventuring world?
Well, I've been through troubles in my life, and this is the only way to do what I need to do.
It's as good a reason as any, I guess. I won't dig any further. Troubles are your own.
So you've travelled for an hour, or a couple of hours, we'll say. You've just reached. Oh, probably not there yet. You're in sort of still an open sort of plains area. You can see off in the distance there. You can see the edge of the Gatton Forest, which you know as your previous journey will have you on the road leading to the base of the Howling Mountains. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. There's a few game, sort of a few deer, and you see the occasional sort of bear out in the open plains hunting, doing what they do. Nothing too strenuous. Anything else you guys want to talk about on your travels, or are you happy to carry on?
Can I look over at Alessandros and saying, how's your head today? You're looking a little bit...
It's getting better. But please, no more talking.
So I slap her on the back. I lean over and slap her on the back and go, oh, nice to hear it, lovely.
Het has a question for Nemaris.
Yes?
Just the night, last night, your crazy demented rage that you went into, I just was curious if there was any more, had you figured out what may have caused that?
I have no idea. I'm just thinking I had some hella weird dream.
No, you remembered it. Finally, you remembered it after you know what you saw.
What I mean is I had some hella weird
No, you know it was more than a dream. You're not sure what it means, but you know it started out, it felt like a dream, but you know it's more than that. There's something more to it, but you're not quite sure what that is yet. But you remember everything. Like, you remember everything that was said, and it was definitely more than just a dream. That much you know in your mind. Whether you relay that to Het, that's up to you.
Which is why I just said I had some hella weird dream.
I'll just let you know.
So
I'm just
it
filling in the
seems
blanks.
You had a hella weird dream.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Do you sleepwalk, destroy things a lot?
Not as a rule, no. Destroy things
mean-
sometimes, but not usually. I don't normally have these dreams.
Is it usually, does your partner tie you down to stop these things from happening?
Well.
I don't have one of those. What's a partner?
Like a mate, someone who you bear the eggs for.
What are these eggs that you speak of?
It rides along,
I
grinning
just
to
kind
himself.
I'm just gonna kind of just look at Het and just be like, what the heck?
Well, see, again, yeah, Gillian, this is the first time you've encountered a Dragonborn. With the where you grew up and
Yeah.
pretty much what's happened since leaving your hometown, you've not been around a lot of people. You've been quite secluded and living on your own. So you've not come across. This is the first time you've ever seen a Dragonborn. So you're fascinated with Het. A little intimidated because I mean, giant rows of sharp teeth. But yeah, you're quite intrigued as well. So it's an interesting mix of intrigue and fear.
It's like jumping.
Het is like Oprah. He asks all the juicy questions.
Can I
Who is this
say,
Oprah
did
you speak
I
of?
find that anything about that, like he was taking the
Make an insight check.
Oh, great.
That's my perception.
No, insight.
I got 15.
Below history. Yep.
Yeah. So 15. Het, are you taking the piss?
No, Het was serious.
Jolly
So
good.
as far as you're concerned, he was seriously, genuinely intrigued by, well, obviously concerned by your violent sleepwalking, and
Absolutely.
and a little concerned about you as well. I mean, Het seems to be, for his quirks, he seems to be a fairly genuine person, and does generally care about others to a certain degree.
Yes, he
All right,
does.
then.
Hard to tell in his facial structure, however.
Dragonborns
So, I have a
don't give
question.
too much away.
Are Dragonborns people or are they like beings?
Is that a DM question or a question to Het?
DM. That's a DM question.
They are humanoid, so they
Right.
they are basically born of a dragon. So they're classed as humanoid, but essentially they are a dragon for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
Because
That's just
they're not born; they are hatched, as the egg comment would suggest.
Okay.
But you wouldn't know that as a player. You know nothing about the Dragonborn.
Right.
So if you wanted to ask that,
I was just kind of
Yeah.
curious.
as a player, if you wanted to ask that question to Het, you could. I mean, if you're
Sure.
curious enough.
I'll just turn to him and be like, so, what exactly are you?
Well, that's a good question. You take a dragon and another dragon, bipedal dragon, not full dragon, of course. And, well, I mean, I don't have to go into the details, but generally, they can have a baby and an egg, and that is me. However, I am not born of dragon and dragon. It is very hard to tell, but I am actually half-breed.
Interesting.
Does that answer your question? Are you satisfied with my answer?
Yes, it's very interesting.
One of us, he's not here at the moment, likes to eat dragon meat. I don't think it's the best idea. But apparently it tastes good. He is a good friend of ours, though, Azalin.
Angela? Who's that? Who's Angela?
He's the one I think you wanted to try and tie up earlier, but I think he might have been a bit too awake for you.
No, really?
And as you guys are traveling and talking, We've got passives here. Who's got the highest passive? That would probably be Hit, I would imagine.
If I have the highest passive, we are in trouble.
What's it
Actually,
for?
no. Alessandros does. So, Alessandros, you notice you see your good friend Josham on the side of the road as you're travelling. He's not waving you down like he did last time. He just puts his hand up and waves at you. He recognises you as the purchaser of the bag, and it's up to you guys whether you want to stop and have a chat to him, or if you want to carry on, just give him a wave of acknowledgement. But he said, as you sort of come up, hey, good afternoon. I hope you are having a great day.
Oh, he had nice meat. If I remember rightly.
He had a nice meat, did he?
I'm just gonna look at Namaris. I'm just gonna look towards Namaris and be like, "You had an interaction with this fellow, did you?"
I was hungry and he sold me some food and it was really, really good meat. Can't remember what it was. So.
Okay.
Hit gives Gillian a wink.
I just kind of like uneasily just nod to him.
That's cool.
So, anyone on the team need anything from this fellow?
I'm hungry.
You are hungry?
Well, it's up to you whether you want to stop.
You're always hungry, Namaris.
And that's a problem. Why?
Just saying.
So you guys want to stop?
Please.
Hit definitely wants to stop too.
Okay, so
What about you, Alessandros?
Yeah, may as well. I'll get a few more rations.
Okay, so you stop, you pull up your horses. Are you going to get off your horses, or are you going to stay mounted?
Yeah,
Hit is dismounted already.
Hit's dismounted.
I'm gonna stay on my horse.
You're going to stay on your horse? No worries. Josham greets you guys. Greetings. Good to see you all again. This one I'm not familiar with. My name's Josham Peddler, the peddler. I sell all sorts of stuff. Potions, food, weird and wonderful things I find on the road. What would you be interested in, if anything, today? I forget your name, big lady person. Nay something, but greetings.
Paris?
That's it. Sorry, my memory's not very good. But I have some more of that jerky that we sold you last time. Amazing stuff. Would you like some more?
Oh, that's why I stopped. Thank you.
And he hands you over another pouch, and again he's got another 5 good-sized chunks of the pork jerky that he sold you previously.
That's what it was. That was really yummy. What would you like for it this time?
I think he charged you, was it 4 gold for it last time? I can't remember. 4 gold.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's 4 gold. But he goes, return customer, how about 3 gold? Just for you. Because you guys bought a lot of stuff. You made me a lot of gold last time. I didn't have to do any more peddling the other day. It was great. I could go home and see my family. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And I'm gonna dismount and walk up. I'm just be like, you said potions.
Yes, I did say potions.
What sort of potions would you have?
Just basic healing potions. I'm not an alchemist or anything like that. I just procure a couple of minor potions here and there just to help travellers. We'll do a quick recap in a minute, Walker, just to catch everyone up.
And I just kind of look them up and down. How much for a potion?
Well, for a what have we got here? Let's see what I've got in my inventory. Just starts rummaging through his bag, and while I look at my notes, I only have the simple ones. What have we got here? We have a potion of minor healing, which will run you 5 gold each.
I'll take one.
So that's the 1d4. I don't think it's minor healing. I think it's just a basic healing.
Just a potion of healing.
Yeah.
Hit will also take one.
Yeah, that's the it's a potion of minor healing, I think it's called, which is the 1d4 plus 2. And yeah, 5 gold to you, Master Dragonborn, as well. Thank you very much.
I put my hand up
So-
for one as well.
You're in luck. We have just one left. So again, 5 gold. 5 gold. Yeah, 5 gold each for those.
And a couple of rations, if you got them.
Rations. Yes, I got some ration portions. I can give you 5 days worth of rations for 1 gold.
Good.
Let's have a
Head
look.
would want to see what you have in the way of magical weaponry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Master Dragonborn. I don't really sell magical weaponry.
How about dragon eggs?
Definitely no dragon eggs. I've never even seen a dragon egg.
Good. Make sure it stays that way.
Make an intimidation check.
I was trying for a joke more than intimidation.
Okay, well, it's hard to tell. And he's just a simple peddler.
Fair call. I rolled a natural 1. Yes.
He looks at you and he's not sure of what you were trying to say. Yeah, so he's a little bit intimidated. He sort of head down and he goes, well, I've never seen one, so I'm not likely to sell one. I'm sorry if that offends you in any way. And then sort of starts
No, it's fine. So no magical weapons at all.
No.
No dagger. No arrow.
No, sorry, just simple things.
Bah. Fair enough. Where might I find magical weapons?
Well, in the city of Verlond, there would bound to
Ah,
be.
crap. We just came from there.
There's bound to be the Arcanus Paradym would be where you'd get enchantments and possibly some magical weapons. There's bound to be a store there that actually sells magical weapons. I know there's a couple of armorers there. I would assume if you're from Verlond, you would maybe know already, or if you knew someone who lived there.
I will check it out with Nemaris later. Thank you. That is
No
all
problem.
I need.
Evil question.
Yo,
With it just said potion of healing is all I could find.
yeah,
And-
just add those. I don't know why it's not adding anything else. So yeah, guys, just put it down as potion of healing, which is the 2d4 plus 2. There is a specific potion in there which is different, and when I find it, we can change it
There's a
out.
few later on, yeah, man. But usually it's under a different section. I can't remember what it's under. I have to look it up.
Yeah, it's. If I go. Well, if I go into
I
magic
don't think there's
items-
anything less than that. That's the standard healing potion is the lowest. So
Yeah, we'll use that. We'll just use the standards, which is healing, greater, superior, and supreme. So your standard healing potion, 2d4 plus 2. We'll roll with that. That's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, and just a quick, yeah. So there you go, Waka. Nutty gave you the basic rundown there. So basically they're on a trial to join the Adventurers Guild, and they're on their second trial to recover some Orcrillium, a rare orcish ore from the Howling Mountains.
Makes sense. It starts with orc, right?
It does indeed.
You're
So
dark and all I want to do is bash.
so as you guys make your purchases and remount your horses, you bid your farewells to Josham Peddler, the peddler. He waves his
Farewell,
goodbyes, and you are on your way. You're probably now remembering from your travels the previous couple of days that you're probably about 2 or 3 hours out from the base of Howling Mountains. It's now getting towards sort of late afternoon, early evening. You're still going to have it when you reach the base of the Howling Mountains, as you've been told by Riffin. You're gonna be you won't be able to take your horses once you reach the base. It'll be foot tracks only, and it's going to take you probably 3 or 4 hours to reach the miners' camp. So your best bet will probably be camp at the base of the mountains for the night, and then continue on your journey to the morning to the miners' camp in the morning.
Because I'm just.
Yes,
super
Waka.
worried. I
Deem
just
is me.
handed out the pork jerky, a couple of pieces each to my and say, "It's really good, guys. You've got to have some more."
It says, "Thank you, Namaris Hope, but I will stand down this time. Keep it for yourself. I have plenty of rations, but I appreciate the offer."
Are you sure? Because it's really, really good. You
Pork
really,
doesn't spin my wheels so much as raw beef.
I was gonna say you don't really eat the cooked meat, no, do you?
Not particularly, but thank you. It is a kind offer.
We'll just have to see if we can shoot you a little ferret or a weasel along the.
Yes, or like a large oxen, or maybe a small child.
Don't get too carried away now.
A child?
A small
That,
child.
that was
you
a
said?
joke.
Do I get that as a joke?
Well, like Aslan says about eating dragon, it. Forget it.
Oh, no, Waka, I haven't decided which way I'm going to take the team yet. So at this stage, we're playing it pretty neutral.
He's an asshat.
depends on them. If they want to be evil, I can be evil back.
Nah, my rolls just suck.
So did I take that as a joke or did I not? Did I take the children thing?
It was he said it was a joke. He actively said it was a joke. So you know it's a joke because he said it.
All right. So she just giggles
Yeah.
under her breath and says, "Bloody hell, these weird people that I'm traveling with."
Yes, a small child wouldn't even fill me. I would need a large child.
I accept the food handout.
Okay, so you share out. Namara shares out the food, and you're now probably getting. You can see the base of the mountains. You're still in sort of thickish forest. You're travelling the road to, which is before it splits off. As you reach the base of the Howling Mountains, you know if you travelled further north, sort of northeastish, you'd find the split in the road. One leading off to the city of Gatton, and one leading off towards the Lazy Woods, where you completed your first trial. You camped at the base of the Howling Mountains your first night, so you know the area. Not well, but you know roughly the area you're in. So it's up to you whether you want to. I mean, you're probably going to have to camp because you're not going to be able to make with only one person with dark vision. The night's 4 hours walk in the dark up a mountain is probably not the best idea.
Is it is it dark now?
It
like
is starting
dusk?
to. It's right on dusk, so it's just starting to get dark.
Het reaches forward with his water skin in his hand, looking at it like as if it was a skull, and he says, "A light in the black, or a fear of the dark." And he illuminates the water skin with the spell light.
And he casts light and illuminates the darkness. Well, the dim darkness. It's like not quite dark yet,
20-foot
but it's
sphere, yeah.
so
Maris is
it
quite
brightens it up.
happy, going, what? I'm just like, what? I mean, I've grown up with this, but I've never seen them do that.
Oh, I have many, many different skills. Lovely poetry, is it not?
Right, so
Okay.
there you go. So we got light. So you're now reaching the base of the mountain, and you can see the small foot track that you're going to need to take in the morning. It was marked on your map. You've pretty much gone straight to it. There's a bit of a clearing where it looks like other people have used to camp before that, if they've reached this point at dusk as well, or in the night, and people have camped here regularly. So there's a bit of a clearing with old campfires and things sort of scattered around the place. A couple of makeshift shelters, just so that again, it's a well-trekked area. Obviously, miners use it as well. So it'd probably be the best place to camp for the night. It's pretty well set out already. You don't have to really prepare anything apart from lighting a fire for the evening.
I might go and pick up some wood and stuff if that's right with everybody.
Yes, feel free. Do you need a hand with it?
Let's come along, that'd be fine.
And I just kind of ask them, if you can find one, could you find me a medium-sized branch?
I look at him and like, what do you want with a medium-sized branch?
You'll see.
Okay.
Never fear.
So
A medium-sized branch, easy to find.
Right.
either roll separate investigation checks, or one of you roll with advantage, because you obviously got the light with you with Het. Up to you
Now,
guys.
Maris, I shall give you advantage if you like.
Well, I got a nat 20, if that
Well,
works.
you quickly gather up a big bundle of wood. There's lots of tinder around. You don't have any problems at all finding what you need. It's not rained for a day or two, so everything's pretty dry. You do find a medium-sized branch for Gillian. You're not 100% sure what the hell he wants it for, but you do find a reasonable, mediumly sized branch for him. Yes, Savage.
While they're doing that, could I look for some sticks that would be of use for arrows?
You could. Because they took the light, you've got dark vision, so yeah, just roll a straight investigation check. So D20 plus your investigation modifier.
A 6.
A 6. No, you find two or three that would be suitable. They look like they'd be suitable. You're not 100% sure. They're a little sort of more flexible than you'd like, but they'd be functional.
Okay.
So I'd say you find 3 reasonable sticks for crafting arrows. So yeah, the wood's been gathered. Now Maris presents you with a pretty decent medium-sized branch. It's made of pretty good wood too, so it's a pretty good branch. She's pretty proud of the branch she found for you.
Because we don't know him very well, I'm kind of looking at him a bit suspiciously, going, what do you want that for?
Well, I've been interested in making myself a pipe of sorts.
Right.
A pipe.
Okay.
Like a smoking pipe, is it?
Indeed.
That's one bloody long pipe, my friend.
Well, I mean, do you give him the branch?
I wonder if he's having me on.
Well,
Do I get anything from that says that, he's not
roll an insight check.
You got 14?
14. He seems on the level. To you, he seems like he's telling the truth. He's not openly trying to deceive anyone.
Nope, that's fine. I'll just hand it over. Okay then, you fucking weirdo.
And
Ed gives Alessandros a nudge with his elbow and says, "What do you make of that, Ali?"
I'll find out tonight.
Interesting.
Excellent. If you take watch, I will join you.
That sounds awesome.
Gillian, can you roll a
Doobie.
charisma saving throw for me?
Yes. Be a 14.
14. You given when Namaris hands over the branch,
Yep.
so it's a 14.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah. So as Namaris hands over the branch, your nerves kicking. You just all of a sudden become a little nervous around someone of her size. She's obviously a lot larger than you. She's broader through the shoulders. She's a little bit taller than you, but she just something triggers in your mind just with the sheer bulk of this barbarian woman, and you kind of flinch a little bit as she hands it to you, almost like you think she was going to hit you with it.
Okay.
Do I notice his reaction?
You would, yes.
And I look at him and go, what? Why are you scared of...
Speak up.
Okay. Why are you scared of me?
Oh, just things. I've had a weird past.
Well, you do right by me, and I'll do right by you, and you'll be...
Just don't throw mud at her. You'll be fine.
So who? Awesome.
Yes, agreed with LA on that one. Definitely don't throw mud at her.
Awesome. So who's lighting the fire this evening for this evening's camp?
I mean, I just kind of look. Would anybody be against me lighting a fire?
Nope.
Nah, go for it.
I mean, the wood's been
Be our
collected.
guest.
Yeah, the wood's been collected, so the plenty of wood there. There's already remnants of campfires there, like the rocks. The rocks have already been ringed up from previous camps, so it's not going to be difficult to light a fire. So roll a general survival check just to see how long it takes you to get the fire started. Do you have a tinderbox by any chance?
Yes.
Yes, you do. Right. So roll it with
So
advantage
I
with a tinderbox.
Okay. 19.
19? Yeah, too easy. You got your tinderbox there, you got your flint, you got your piece of steel, and you just spark it up. It almost catches the tinder almost instantly. You blow on it a couple of times and it just bursts into life. You got this roaring campfire. By now you're sort of looking around 7:30 p.m. ish at night, and the sky has cleared up, so the stars are out. It's like almost like a quarter moon in the sky, so it's not bright light. You got plenty of light from the campfire, which is probably out to about sort of 30-40 feet before it starts sort of dimming out. Obviously, Gillian, with your dark vision, you can see beyond the campfire for another 30 feet in that dim light without too many hassles. Who is going to take first watch? Indeed, or that's if you want to go to sleep. I mean, it's only 7:30. You can stay up and chat some more if you want to turn in for the evening.
Well, I think Hit and Ellie will probably take the first watch when it comes time.
That sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to go right through.
Working on carving that stick.
Roll a D20 plus Dex plus mod plus your proficiency modifier to see how your pipe carving skills go.
So D20 plus Dex plus my
Plus your proficiency modifier, yeah. So it should be so D20 plus 3 plus 2, so it'd be a plus 5.
Okay, so I have 8.
You got an 8. You've never carved a pipe before. This is the first time you've attempted to do it. The branch that you were given was pretty good quality, pretty straight. You managed to get the bark off it, okay, and sort of you're looking at it and you go to carve through it and you carve a little bit too deeply down on the initial bowl area of the pipe, and you essentially ruin that part of the pipe. So you sort of, shit. So you'll have to remove that section of the branch and then try again maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Do the rest of us see this?
Well, you're all sitting around the campfire, so unless Gillian, you're trying to hide what you're doing, everyone would see it.
Sitting there, just doing it.
Yeah.
I'm
Hit notices.
silent.
Sorry, you carry.
Yeah, so Alessandro,
sitting there silent, shaking my head.
Hit notices as well and says, "Oh, I see. It's like a horse."
Yeah, well, the shape's not great. It's not taking any kind of shape, but it kind of did look like a horse when he was trying to carve the end out. But yeah, it didn't quite work. And you see him slip into the end of it and almost like split the end completely out. It just didn't, and he definitely looks disappointed. He's not happy with the result.
Hit appreciates his form of artistry. And he says so. I appreciate your form of artistry.
I just kind of look at him, still upset about my thing. I just nod. Thanks, I guess.
Yeah.
Takes a bit of practice. You'll get it. You got like 5 years ahead of you or something, don't you?
Something like that.
Awesome. So as we carry on through the night, you have a night's rations. You have water from your water skins, or if you have any alcohol, you can drink alcohol. It's up to you guys. Alessandros and Het take first watch, and so Gillian and Neymaris, you guys bed down for the evening. Your bed rolls.
Hey, Het, you should serenade them, put them to sleep, maybe.
I asked them. That's a good idea. I love to do that. Would you like to sleep to my serenading music, Nemaris and Gideon. What do you think?
All right.
I mean,
He's quite good.
I've never heard of dragon music, but suppose.
Roll a performance check, but actually roll a performance
Okay,
check with
then.
advantage because Alessandros and Neymaris have both heard your music and they both quite enjoyed it when you played last time. So roll a
And
performance
just
check with
before I
advantage.
roll, Hit begins to sing. Infinite dreams, you can't deny them. And I roll another natural one.
Oh no!
I'm going to use my DM's inspiration
Okay,
from the last game.
Yep, use that. Add your
Oh, that's much better. This performance 24.
24. That's better. And as Hit starts to play, he hits that first note. He hits a real bum note, and sort of goes oh, and then just carries on, just goes into the song and plays a beautiful rendition of Infinite Dreams. And you guys initially you think oh, and then you just sort of lulled into an awesome restful sleep. Hit and Alessandros, can I get you both to make a team nearly went deaf? They did. Roll an perception checks, please. Both with disadvantage because you only have the firelight.
Evil.
Yo.
With my natural explorer, it says I remain alert to danger even when engaged in another activity. Would that apply here?
No, you're asleep.
Okay. I figured I'd ask.
If you were awake, it would even if you were engaged, like if you were not paying attention, being awake, that would apply. But because you're asleep, that no longer applies. So what was your check?
7.
7. And Alessandro's 10. Yeah, you guys don't notice anything really. You don't notice the glowing eyes that are staring back at you from the forest not until you hear the snapping of branches relatively close to your left position. It sounds like it's about maybe 10 or 15 feet away from your current campsite, and a low growl.
Does this wake me up?
With your passive, no.
I go over to Namaris and nudge her gently.
Hit stays watching now.
Yeah, now you've definitely now, as you've looked in that general direction, Hit, you now notice these eyes. You can tell that they're an eye shine of some form of beast, and the eye shine from the firelight.
I keep my cast of light on my water skin in front of me.
And as you lift it, just hang on, Alessandro. As you lift your water skin, it obviously puts it a little bit closer to the figure. It sort of takes half a step back to remain in the shadows. Alessandro?
After getting Namaris up, I go over to Gillian and wake him up.
Is it? Do I see this animals that they're?
Well, you would now because Alessandro has woken you up and would point out to hey, there's something there, kind of thing.
Would I see it with my extra vision?
With your dark vision, you would definitely see the outline because it's out. The campfire sort of died down a little bit. Hit's lights there, but out to 60 feet, it's kind of there's trees and brush around where the camp is. You notice the figure, like you notice what it looks like, but you're not 100% sure what it is. But you sort of perceive it to be possibly a large cat or a bear.
Would I be able to handle it?
What do you mean handle it?
Like go up and give it a pat on the back?
Do you want to approach a wild animal in the dark?
Hey, I like my animals.
Well, it's your funeral. Neymaris stands up and just walks towards this thing with a hand out, going, here, kitty, 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 kitty. Roll a animal handling check with disadvantage because you're half asleep, you've just been woken up. You don't know what it is.
Hit, as she does this, says, I don't know if that's a good idea, Namaris.
14.
14. As you approach, the growling gets louder. You know straight away this is not a friendly animal. Your animal handling skills, the only reason you're not getting attacked right now is you rolled one above the DC that I set for this. But the animal recall, he steps back again, about half a step, maybe a couple of yards, just to say just out of your sort of visual field. You can still see the eyes, you can see the sort of the outline now being a little bit closer, but its growl has become more intensive. It's basically telling you, stay away from me. It's almost like it was just investigating sort of the camp more than anything else.
Gonna give it a piece of pork.
It does. It's not friendly. It is not a friendly beast.
All right then.
And I'm going
just
to
back away.
walk kind of over towards Het and just kind of nudge him, be like, why am I awake?
We thought there may have been something trying to creep into our camp and take us out. Seems to be some sort of wild animal. DM, does Het actually see as much as Namaris?
You would probably see. You'd still just see the eyes. You can get an idea at the height, judging by.
Would understand it was an animal.
You'd understand that it was a beast. It looks, and again, you would understand now by looking directly at it, by the shape of its eyes and where you come from. It's probably a large cat of some description.
But yes, apologies, Gillian, but Allie did the right thing. We thought it was best that you didn't get slaughtered in your sleep.
Makes sense.
I could have left you asleep. That doesn't bother me at all.
You're fine. You're fine.
It seems like it might be backing away now. If you wish to carry on napping, that is fine.
Are we in the forest, or are we like
You're-
kind of in the mountain?
You're at the base of the mountains, in a small clearing. You're in the forest still, but you're on the base of the mountains. You're in a sort of cleared campsite at the foot of the Howling Mountains, and right on the edge of the Gatton Forest. You guys now notice, watching this animal, as it doesn't back completely away, but it sort of disappears for a second and then reappears 30 feet to your right now. Again, just low growling, and seems to be focused on Gillian in some respect. Seems to be looking directly at you. You notice this with your passive. It seems to be looking right at you.
Okay. And with my favorite enemy of beast, would I know what it is at this point?
You probably, even with your dark vision, you now definitely know it's a large cat. You're not sure what type of cat, but it's definitely a large cat of some description.
I'm going to approach it with the whole favored enemy being beast and everything. It says
your favorite enemy, that just gives you that would give you advantage for tracking and things like that.
But with animal handling, would that affect
Basically,
that?
if you wanted to, so what are you trying to do? You want to approach it to try and see what it is, or
yeah?
And what was your favorite terrain, or your preferred terrain?
It's forest.
Forest. So I'll give make a investigation check with advantage first to see if you can determine exactly what type of animal it is. 15. Yeah. You take a few steps closer, being careful not to spook the animal. The animal doesn't seem to be aggressive towards you. He's definitely not backing away, but he's not advancing. The low growl's still there, but it's not intensifying as you walk closer. You take 2 or 3 steps forward, pause, and then take another couple of steps forward. And with your dark vision from Het's light, you now see this is a large panther, but it's not black. It's not a black panther that you'd expect to see. The coat is almost silvery grey.
He just would like to interrupt there and just,
yes.
As Gillian's doing what he's doing, he would like to say, be careful. We'd hate to lose you on day one.
At this point, Neymaris looks at Het and says, do you think you might be up for some dinner, friend?
Well, I mean, sure, I'd love to eat it, but we must be careful.
And I as they're like talking, I just kind of like put my hand back and just like give them like a stop motion, just like.
Yeah. So you guys see Gillian raise his hand to you guys, almost like not shushing you, but asking you guys to cease for a bit. He's just
Hold.
just hold, and like it's not aggressive. It's almost like
That's the hand
just hang
signal
on.
for hold.
Yeah, just
That means
hold
us
up.
to stop, I think.
Yeah. So
know this.
Gillian, as you sort of peer through the shadow and the brush with your dark vision, it's a beautiful looking animal. Like it's a large, it looks like it would be probably 4 or 5 years old. It doesn't look like it's been in any battles. Somewhat, there's no visible scarring or. But the one thing you do notice is its fur's not matted or dirty, which is unusual because most wild animals out in the forests and things generally they don't look clean as a general rule unless they've been cleaned. Right. So you that strikes you as being unusual, and you're fascinated with this animal. You're absolutely sort of just in awe of this amazing looking cat. And then in an instant, it turns and disappears.
Okay.
Maybe it was someone's pet.
Maybe it was. Didn't like me very much, though.
I don't know why.
Kind of,
you seem extremely likable to I.
I just kind of turn around and everyone kind of, I'm just giving off this sense of like reminiscent like memories. I'm just kind of like down, but like like that like melancholy kind of feeling.
Can I look at Gillian and say, "You all right, friend? Did you know that?"
I don't know the animal, but it's the beauty reminds me of someone.
Okay.
And then I just kind of like put my head down and just like back to the like campfire and just kind of sit down.
Here, have a piece of pork. It might make you feel better.
And Neymaris hands you a piece of pork jerky. It's very good jerky.
Just kind of like chew on it. Just sit and think.
Okay. So with that, now you're looking roughly sort of 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You've had you guys are the two that were sleeping had not. You obviously haven't had enough rest to sort of constitute a long rest. So you guys will try and get back to sleep as best you can. Gillian, your sleep is restless. The thought of the cat plays on your mind throughout the evening. You have just that reoccurring thought of the beauty of the animal and that memory that you hang on to and that stays with you for the rest of the evening. So your evening sleep is pretty restless. Neymaris, you go back to sleep. You're out. You have no problem sleeping. Throughout the night, at one portion through the night, you do have not so much that reoccurring dream, but you have that a similar sort of sensation and hearing the name Ashana Kortash. You hear that a few times, and it's comforting. It kind of, if anything, it helps you sleep. Your guys' watch, the rest of your watch comes to.
Well, before we finish
yes,
this,
gosh, Mr. Alessandros, you sneaky bitch.
sneak over and have a look at Gillian's.
You gonna look in Gillian's pack?
I am.
Roll a sleight of hand check with advantage because Gillian's asleep, and Gillian, roll a perception check.
Okay.
So I got a 14 with advantage, which I have no idea what that is.
Roll two d20s. Take the highest.
I rolled a nat 20.
You rolled a nat 20. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Okay, so 18 plus sleight of hand 4, so that's
21,
no, 22.
22. So
But I
even
have no,
even with a nat
bonus,
20, you as as Elishandros approaches and flips open the top of your pack and starts to go through it, you stir, you stir almost not to full awakeness. You stir and you sort of roll over, freaking Elishandros out for one, but you don't actually fully awake. So you're bloody lucky there, Elishandros, with that roll.
Really?
Even with a nat 20, you didn't naturally see it, but you definitely stirred. You heard something or you felt something, but it didn't fully awaken you. You're still quite realist. You're still pretty sort of focused on what you've seen during the evening, and that cat sort of just sticks with you. So in Gillian's inventory, or in the pack,
What
you
do I
find
see?
a mess kit. There's a pot and an iron, obviously some rations, 50 feet of hempen rope, a shovel, a tinderbox, a torch, water skin, wood carver's tools, and that's about it. You notice obviously the weapon she's been carrying is some arrows. She's got a longbow, and she's also got a couple of short swords as well.
Cool. Put it back out. Was it? Leave.
Okay, cool.
When Alice gets back to Head says, "So, what do you make of Gillian then?"
Nothing out of the ordinary in it.
Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing distrustful.
Except maybe a shovel. Don't know why what a shovel for.
I don't know about where you come from, but where I come from, they're used for digging holes.
I get that too, but why? Yeah.
Awesome.
So, well, we've got this. I mean, we're missing Azel, and it feels a little awkward today. Do we trust Gillian in the same place, or do we pull our trust into Nemaris to lead us?
We'll see how it goes.
Watch it play out. You're a wise person, Alice, for your young age.
A little bit.
This is the most talky you've ever been. I wish you'd never shut up. Anyhow, what trick can we get up to before they wake?
And with the mention of the word trick, you look over, you look at Elishandros and her eyes light up. She's a prankster, and that faint glow appears around the irises of her eyes again. Ever so subtle, but you do notice it. Where just at that mention of the word trick, it just she just lights up at that kind of kind of thing.
I noticed that. That's good. Then, what do you have in mind, Ellie?
Something from the Mars. What do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know about that. She's had a couple of jokes on her, and we've seen how that plays out. Maybe it would be better to play with Gillian. Gillian looks maybe like he'd have a bit more humor.
Yeah, all right.
Should we dig a 6-foot hole and drop him in it?
That sounds good. Let's do that.
That's a lot of digging. I hope you're up for some digging.
Do you guys have shovels?
Well, I know where there's one hanging.
Well, you know where there is one, yes.
Oh boy.
Maybe we just dig some dirt in and just lay it over him like a blanket.
Yeah, we'll do that instead.
So you're gonna
Seems a little easier.
You're gonna cover him with dirt.
Yes,
Okay.
that sounds great.
God, how am I gonna do this? Both you guys
Stealthily, mind you.
Both you guys roll for stealth.
Do I hear this going on? Does it wake
Not
me
with
up?
your passives, you don't, unfortunately. But yeah, both you guys roll for stealth first, and hit Gillian and Namaris roll perception, please. If it's lower than your passive, take your passive.
Okay.
Nat
That's where I
20?
messed up last
A
time.
nat 20. Holy shit.
I got a 17.
17. Okay, so hit your stealth check.
Hit gets 12.
And Alessandra's stealth check.
Oh boy.
I trip over Gillian.
What was your roll, dude?
4.
Oh,
It
shit.
wasn't too bad.
Well, first of all, the moment you guys sort of get up and start moving towards Gillian, Namara stirs almost instantly. You got, I mean, Het kicks a pot that you've been using to cook at the fireside, makes a bit of a noise, and Namara sort of rolls over, one eye open, and sort of sees you guys moving towards Gillian. And as that's happening, Alessandros, you trip over one of the fire bricks, the fire rocks, and you fall on Gillian. Literally, fall on Gillian. Make an athletics check for me to see if you roll out the way before he actually lands on you.
17.
Yeah,
I'd have
you
to do it.
sort of as you hear that, like you sort of heard with your roll as well, sort of what's going on, and you sort of, because you're restless, you sort of open your eyes and see Alessandros falling at your direction. You just roll, sort of half side roll, and
Should I do a acrobatics check?
yeah, we'll see an acrobatics. See if you actually land hands and knees or land flat on your face. So roll an acrobatics.
Oh, fuck.
With was it that bad?
Sounds good.
It sounds like it's great. What was your check? 2. You fall flat on your face and you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage, in the process.
Do I kind of? Can I
You're
get
all
up?
pretty much. You guys are both awake now. Like you've heard the commotion. You've heard the pot scrape. You've heard Alessandra's trip and fall with and flat on her face. Gillian's rolled out the way and is sort of standing up now, wondering what the fuck's going on.
I'm just gonna reach over and grab Alessandros by the scruff of the neck and pick her up off the floor.
Make a strength check. And Alessandros, make a athletics check to see if you can get out of the way of her grapple.
I got a 19.
You got 19. What was your strength check?
Ah, mine was 18.
Okay,
I'm
she
just
she
gonna-
manages to grab you, but as she picks you up, you sort of manage to sort of spin out of her grasp and sort of turn around and almost in a defensive position, looking back at Neymaris.
Oh no, I just look at her and go, "What the hell are you doing, you crazy woman? Are you alright? Is your face okay?"
I'll just go to give Gillian a kiss. That's all.
Oh, go hard. Go for it, hun.
And Gillian, you hear this? You're there. You hear what's said.
I'm just kind of I'm just sitting there blushing.
uh,
I don't know if that's a compliment, but
just before we carry on with this, Alessandros, take DM's inspiration as well for roleplay. That was awesome, dude. Seriously. It's on your sheet. Just
Awesome.
click. Yeah, you'll see where the inspiration is. Just click it.
Top right, main page.
Yeah, right next to your HP.
Next your walking speed.
And I can't remember what it does. I'm a bad DM. I think it gives you a chance to re-roll a failed.
It's a
Check.
reroll of a
an
fail.
advantage basically.
Correct.
Gives you a chance to re-roll a failed check in the future because you've been failing a lot.
I have.
So you
Basically, any failed d20.
yeah. So you've turned around and said that you were just trying to kiss Gillian. Gillian's blushing. Carry on.
Just
Hit
standing-
resets the pot that he kicked and says, "Yes, sir. Me too."
At this point, I look at him like, did we want to make some tea then, seeing as we're all awake now, or do you two want to go to sleep?
I guess we would need to rest as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much at the end of your guys' watch anyway. So,
And I just look at Het and I just kind of give him like I'm still blushing, but I'm just kind of like a bewildered like.
you're like a deer in headlights right now. Trying to,
So I go over and I put my arm around Gillian's shoulders and go, "It's all right, buddy. You'll be safe with me."
and Gillian jumps slightly, like as you put your arm around him. He sort of reacts as like he's not expecting you to do it, and even though he's not like scared of you, it feels like you sort of give him a bit of a fright, a bit of a start. He's not used to sort of physical contact from other people. So he sort of almost like he sort of turns and sort of jerks a little bit, but then sort of settles and allows you to put your arm around him.
Here, have some pork jerky. It's really good and it'll make you feel a little bit better.
You don't have any left. You've given it all away.
I thought I
Yeah,
had
go
7
through your pork
pieces.
jerky.
You had 5 pieces,
Damn it.
and you gave it all away.
Well, here, have a mushroom. They're really, really good this time of year.
What type of mushroom?
I don't know. I picked it in like last round. And
Oh,
I'm not
that was
sure.
that's right. That was an okay mushroom.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
My
well,
nature knowledge. What would
Yeah.
I know about this?
it's a mushroom. It's a regular mushroom.
Really tasty.
Right. So
Tasty.
with that exchange, now Alessandros and Het, you guys need to get some sleep. So you then
We sure do.
get set about setting yourselves up to get your bedrolls out, and Neymaris and Gillian stay up for the and take your watch. Roll investigation checks, perception checks. Sorry, Neymaris with disadvantage, and Gillian with advantage, please.
11.
11?
6.
6. Yeah, your watch goes on without too many hassles. Like you hear the animals in the forest, and Gillian, you're still a little bit preoccupied. So every time you hear an animal, you think it might be the cat again. So you sort of look up and around and are a little not jumpy, but you're sort of expectantly hoping to see it again. And yeah, so the night pretty much goes on. The sun's starting to come up now, so your watch goes on without too many things happening, and you've all had a long rest. You wake up reasonably well rested. Any spell slots you have used, obviously you've regained. Any HP you've lost, Alessandros, you gain that back. Hey Tony, and with that we're at 5 to 9, so we're going to take a 5 or 10 minute break again to interact with the chat. So guys in the chat, if you've got any questions for the players or for myself, this is the time. We've got 10 minutes of just a bit of break time. I'm just going to go grab a quick drink. Players, if you want to grab a drink, toilet break, whatever. But anyone in the chat,
I got all my stuff.
have interact with us right now. We don't really do it too much during the gameplay, trying to keep the role play and keep it flowing. So now's your time to ask any questions about the players, about the characters, about the channel or anything like that. So give me a couple of minutes. I'll be right back.
Het knows not how to type in chat. He will just talk.
I'm gonna be honest. That whole encounter with everything that happened today, I almost started crying.
Okay.
Well, my grandma passed away today, or well, we had a funeral today. So
Sorry.
like the whole like white and everything, it just kind of reminded me, and I'm like sitting here like, this is terrible. I don't want to start crying.
Oh, if
But,
don't
like-
do. Hugs, man. If you do, you do. It's called being human. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Thanks, Taz. Yeah, I didn't even know if I was gonna make it today because with that today, I actually got a nap in. My people didn't come today, where they were supposed to play. We were all supposed to DM today, and they just never showed up. So
Probably a good thing for gave you a
yeah,
time.
I got to sleep and yeah.
So what time is it over there in the morning? Man, I just about
It
did his
is-
voice.
It's 4 a.m. right now.
Oh, geez, you must
Yeah,
be tapped.
Oh no, I slept from like 5 to 11.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've
that's not so
been
bad.
we've been
Slept
planning
like
it.
2
I've been
hours.
reminding him all week that we had the game tonight, so he could get his sleeping pattern sorted for it.
And I did. And then last night I got 2 hours of sleep.
So
and I was like,
Tassie's
oh,
got a question here. Well, firstly, I kind of love Het too. Just something about him. Kay, as a changeling, will we see more of Ellie's powers? I don't know how much about changelings. Well, obviously the group doesn't know that Alessandros is a changeling as yet. As far as they're concerned, she's human. But as the game progresses and story progresses, it'll essentially be up to Alessandros how much she reveals to the group, if at all. And eventually we'll explore each player's backstory and backgrounds a little bit more and introduce items specific to those specific to those characters and other parts of the story as a whole. I'm sort of creating the story as we go, the story for the whole realm as well. So the things are happening as I'm sort of creating it, and some things are ad libs, some things are planned based on what the players do.
And
Gillian's here.
I was. Yep. Somebody asked where I was. I'm in Wisconsin. So.
Yeah.
Ah, like the burgers.
Wisconsin burger. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Just like the burgers.
But yeah, so
Over here.
as a whole, the guys in the chat, you guys are awesome. I've been watching the comments as we've been playing. Tierney, welcome. Appreciate you dropping by, dude. Tierney was a guy I actually played some Apex with this morning, another streamer on Twitch. So glad you could stop by, buddy. Appreciate it. But yeah, so it's good to see the numbers in the chat again. We hit, I think we had 20 viewers at one stage there again tonight so far. We're sitting at 16 now, which is really awesome.
I was saying with that whole
Sweet.
encounter, with everything that happened while you were gone, with like my grandma's funeral and everything, that I actually was getting almost teary-eyed.
Well,
It was just kind of like,
yeah, I mean,
I was like, oh god.
yeah, but that's good. I mean, the thing is with the role play, I think what I'm trying to achieve a little bit is to keep I want to keep the humor in it. I mean, the humor is awesome, but at the same time, I also want to try and hopefully what I want to see happen over the course of the story is have you guys as characters become a little bit more emotionally invested in each character as well. So then when things happen, it becomes a little bit
It's
more
way too late.
and a little bit more intense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I mean, using as an example, with my character being killed off, well, not being killed off, but died in the campaign I'm running, that my brother runs, that Baz runs. I don't think, because my character had come in late in the game, I hadn't built any kind of close relationships with any other character until just recently with another rogue in the group and possibly the ranger, giving them sort of full backstory sort of things. So having the character dead, they're not as sort of cut up about losing a character as they would be if we're level 15 or level 16 and would put all this time and effort into the game, and then that character is dead and is not there anymore, kind of thing. So
Oh, I got some stink eye though.
oh, you did. I think that was, who gave you the stink eye? Was it Caslin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk.
I'm pretty sure. Talk was the year.
Yeah, Talk was yeah. I think Talk, and even I saw. Oh, you don't have Facebook anymore. Jace on my Facebook this morning put rest in peace, Mr. Bojangles, on my Facebook page, which I thought was awesome.
Oh, yeah, he thought he was pretty mean at me for killing off my brother.
I'll kill off your brother for you.
Killed your brother.
It was like, I didn't kill him in real life, dude.
Shadow Reaper, I'll tie people down and force them to watch next fortnight. Awesome, dude. I'm actually in an MMO with Jeb and Singh. If these guys and girls here are interested in a little D&D, well, yeah. I mean, if you guys have got friends that you know that are interested in D&D, or even that have never heard about it, and you think that they might be interested in coming and watch, give them the Twitch channel. By all means, stop by. We've got, I say, all these episodes get uploaded to YouTube as well and go into my Discord. So search The Ugly Kiwi on YouTube, you'll find it. Or if you go to my Mixer channel, which is mixer.com/TheUglyKiwi, all the links are there for my YouTube, for Discord, and all that sort of stuff as well. I said this is essentially Baz prompted me to do the DMing thing. I haven't DM'd very much over the years. Baz normally did all the DMing when we were playing, when we were younger, and back in 3rd edition, which was probably the last time we really sort of sat down and played a lot of D&D, which was his own version of 3rd edition. And then he started playing his campaign, which I joined as a player. I did a one-shot for him, which prompted me to think about possibly do this campaign, which he agreed to play in, which is really awesome. So
it's also to play a character.
But yeah, so and so it gives Baz a chance to play a character outside of the DMing, because DMing is a lot of fun, but playing a character is a lot of fun too. So it's really awesome. Jebin, 12-year-old has joined. Convert or die. Yes. And the thing is, even though my channel is set to mature, all ages can come and watch. The content we try and keep reasonably clean. There will be some R-rated content from time to time, but it'll be few and far between.
Yeah. It was everything I could do not to ask if your peddler had a file.
But see, stuff like that you can probably get away with. It's not too bad.
But I put my
But that was
time
awesome.
I will say, my character, at some point, it could get a little graphic. My character.
Oh, he's got a huge dong.
No.
Oh no, Drax has got no
with
internet.
my character's history.
No, it's good. Good graphic history is good.
Yeah, so again, everyone's character background will come out eventually. We've touched on a few backstories so far. We've touched on Namaris's a little bit, and Azalan's. Het's background we haven't really done too much with yet.
Het is not fast.
But all the backgrounds will come into fruition eventually, and as the story progresses, and they gain levels and stuff like that. So that will definitely all come out. So that'll be awesome. Let's start an Inquisition for this channel, shall we? Definitely. Anywho, without further ado,
Yes.
let's get back into the game. You guys have now all awakened. It's morning. Your fire is still smouldering. It's not completely out, but it's almost out. If you want to stoke it up for a breakfast, or if you're quite happy just with your rations.
More pork jerky.
Next time you'll have to buy double Namaris.
I look at Gillian and wink.
You what?
I look at Gillian and wink.
You wink at him.
I'm just gonna kind of like look back, bite my lip, just kind of like, It's kind of like a interested but disinterested kind of feel.
All right, so we have breakfast. We pack up. You're gonna have to leave the horses here, so you just you can leave them tied up. There's water and everything for them, so they're not gonna starve or die.
They're tied up?
Yeah.
They're not gonna be
Well, there are other horses here. Like you'll see that, every now and again, one of the miners will come down and tend to them as well.
So it's like a parking lot for the horses.
Kind of, yeah. There's a cart down here, and there's a couple other horses, a few other horses tied up. It's one thing you didn't notice when you got here at night, but now in the morning and the daylight, you see that there are a few other horses now around.
Any saddlebags?
No, they're all saddleless.
Damn.
People have taken. There's a cart there if you want to have a look at the cart.
Yeah, I'll have a look at the cart.
Roll investigation check on the cart.
God. Look, it's a cart. It looks pretty.
What did you roll? Dude, your rolls are terrible. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 2.
Holy shit, man. You go through the cart. It's a cart. There's nothing much in there.
Before he gets here, I'm just going to grab him and say, or grab her and say, not today, honey, not today. Today is not the day to be
You were
doing
too
that."
slow. You already rolled.
Damn it.
It's a pretty cart. Look, it's a pretty cart.
So there's nothing much in the cart. It's just a cart. You might have to, Tassie. I think Alessandra's rolls are shitty. Get some new dice, trash.
Yeah, so what I was doing last week.
I like my dice.
So just for those in the chat there, and for those watching on the stream, you're in this area right here at the base of the mountain. There is a foot track which winds right up the mountain, and which you have known from Riffin's instructions will lead you to a miner's camp. So off you set.
So who is going to lead us far as is it a track or is it easy to follow?
It's a track you can walk 2 by 2, reasonably comfortably. It's not like a huge track, but you could definitely walk 2 by 2. So what's our marching order, guys?
Het will be at the back again.
Head at the back.
I'd like to stay by Namaris.
Namaris leading. Okay, and so Alessandro, you want to be in the back with Het as well? So we got Neymaris, Gillian, Het, and Alessandros. You head up the track. It's not steep, but it's a steady incline, pretty much all the way up. It's going to take you a little while to get to the mining camp. As you're heading up, sort of around your first bend, you see another track leading off to your left, and there's this old wooden sign there, and it just says basically in common it just says mine closed. So it's like, obviously it's like an old mine they've closed off that's probably dry, no longer, it's maybe in disuse. And you carry on up your path. You know you've got to go pretty much right to the top to get to the first, basically the base camp of the mine. It's a pretty nice day. You hear the usual sort of wildlife that you'd expect to see in a mountainous region. You've got on your left side, as you're going up, sort of off the side of the path, it's sort of low brush, a few small trees, and then it's sort of almost like a sheer rock face. Goes up about 60, 70, 80 feet high. It's quite tall. You're almost like in a ravine, winding through a tall ravine, so you got sort of cliff face on both sides. Jagged rocks and that, it's almost like it was carved out, but it's natural formation, but it looks like it might have been carved out so thousands of years ago by an old river or torrential rain or something like that. But it's a nice place. It's peaceful. You don't really hear a whole lot. A couple of hours in, you get to a small clearing, which looks like it's been cleared out as almost like a rest area. And there's a table, almost like a picnic table. It looks like it's been made out of an old tree stump, and it's got some stools around it. And there's no one there at this time, but looks like that's where people would stop.
Het would like to investigate the area, please.
You want to investigate the area? Roll an investigation check. What are you investigating for? Or you just general perception?
Yeah, general perception, maybe.
You roll a perception check then, sir.
That is good. 17.
17? As you look around the area, again, you've got the table. Looks like it's a big old oak stump. It's been obviously felled, and then they've turned it into a somewhat sort of makeshift table. And you've got other big rings of wood that have been cut up. You can see the saw marks on them. They've been cut off like large branches, and have been placed around it so people can sit down and eat and drink. As you sort of look around the area, back further to the back of the area, again, large cliff face. Goes up again, probably at 60 feet or so, and it's almost like a semicircle of an area, a bit of a cauldron style area. A few small trees, bushes, things like that.
Any animal tracks?
No. Roll investigation for animal tracks.
That is 13.
13. You've got what looks to be rodent-sized tracks, maybe a weasel, rat, sort of in and around the right-hand side of the big table. Nothing much else.
Het stops looking after noticing not much.
No problem.
Do we remember why we're heading this way? What was our actual task?
Your task, if you pull out the contract, you want to read it? It'll give you your task.
That's a good idea.
So you pull out your contract, and in the contract it states that you must retrieve, and I've got to bring up my notes here now.
Het relays this to Gillian, thinking he probably has no idea.
I've got to remember what the trial was.
Is
And
the Orchillium.
you got to. There was a certain amount that you had to collect, though. There's a specific amount. Give me a second. I didn't have these notes
Correct. That's how much do we need?
Where are we? It's this one I'm after. So, your second trial. Track down and retrieve a 20-pound piece of orcrillium.
20 pound.
Well, 20 pounds of orcrillium. Doesn't have to be a single piece, but 20 pounds of orcrillium. Rare or only found in the caverns beneath the Howling Mountains. And you've got 7 days in which to complete this task, and you're on day 2.
There's no entries.
100 pounds on my list.
Is it 100 pounds with it?
That's what I've got written down.
Okay, I must have changed that. So we'll go with the 100. You've got the notes. That's fine. So
The bag is capable of taking it.
It is capable of taking it. You've got a special bag to carry that, which is essentially another bag of holding, which is specifically for that contract.
Correct, that's right.
And you have a map marker on your map which shows you the miners' camp, which you'll then get information which will lead you to the mine where the orcrillium is located. And you're about an hour. You're about an hour out from the mine. So you want to carry on? You want to take a rest?
I think we should just keep on walking. Is everybody keeping up all right?
Yes, it agrees. Alessandros, your small legs helping you.
Right, so
So if anybody's having any trouble, tell me now, because I'll shove you over my shoulder.
so you carry on and you reach the base of the mining camp. So as you reach the outskirts, you come across a small mining base. Looks like a makeshift, like a almost, if you could imagine like a gold rush town. Tents. There's no real buildings to speak of. The sort of everything's done in tents, and some of the buildings have a shop front style wooden front, but the back of it's just a great big tent basically. So there are sort of doors and stuff on some of these places, but it's like it's been thrown up.
Signposted.
It's all signed. There's just a signpost that just says miners base camp. Several miners are going about their business, cleaning up mining gear, getting ready for the day. For the day ahead, because it's still morning time. You're sort of looking about 10:30 at the moment.
Are these humans?
Mainly dwarves. You got a few halflings floating around, but mostly dwarves. One miner approaches you, dwarven male, long red hair, comes down maybe halfway down his chest, a big braid. Sort of big braids tied to the back, and comes down his back, and about halfway down his back to keep the hair out of his face. He's got a big, long, big, bushy red beard as well, with 2 braids sort of coming off the moustache and hanging down his face. Comes right down to his belt. He's wearing simple garb, like just a simple linen pants, shirt, leather boots. He's got leather braces on, and he's got a pick slung over one shoulder. And he approaches you and says, "Hey there, strangers! What brings you to this here mining town?"
The smell of victory and gold and copper and all the other things you dig out of mines, I guess.
Well, you don't look much like miners, do you?
I think I'm a lot older than you are.
Well, I doubt that, sonny. He introduces himself. "Hey, my name's Gimme Silverhand. And I've been working at this here mines for at least 100 years.
That is old.
So what can we do you for? Are you looking for anything in particular?
We have been tasked looking for orchillium.
Oh, so it's orchillium you're after. Well,
that's the one.
The only mine you'll find that in is about a mile or so up the mountain here. You know, though that mine has been overrun by some nasty wee kobolds and an orc or two, we haven't really been in that mine for quite some time. I can mark it on your map, but you might have to fight your way through.
So what you're telling me is no one's been mining orchillium and we're going to have to do it ourselves?
Well, I don't know. The kobolds might be mining it. You may have to mine some yourself. I hope you have a pick and a shovel.
Crap, do we have a pick and a shovel, guys?
I don't think any of us picked one
I
up.
just have a shovel. I look at them. I have a shovel, but no pick.
Well,
Okay,
I
can we purchase these?
I could sell you a pick. I could sell you this one. It's just a standard old pick. I mean, I lost my pick when we were last in that mine up there. So if you are going up there, if you could find my pick, I would pay a decent reward. I'm not a very good fighter. I'm just a miner, so I don't really want to go up there and try and find it myself.
So there's something up there that you would have to fight. That is what you're telling me.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, the last time we sent anyone up there, they never came back. That was about 3 months ago.
I just look at him. I'll be like, I'll get your pick.
He describes the pick to you. He goes, well, you can find the entrance easy enough. I'll mark it on your map. I just got to find my notes where I had the pick. I did describe it.
As this happens, Hit winks at Alessandra and says, "Just before you mark our map, can you do a favor for me?"
What's that?
Sorry. Ask the miner if he can say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Asshole.
Well,
no, that's more your thing.
All right, I got it. Hit asks the miner, "Can you say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?"
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, that was awesome.
I just kind of.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but there you go. My pick is made from a fine dark wood. It comes from my homeland, and the pick itself, the pick head is made of solid silver, and it's carved with my family's dwarven runes. The story of my family. I will pay you 100 gold if you could find it for me.
How much?
100 gold pieces.
That seems easy enough.
It does seem easy enough. Seems too easy. What kind of creatures are we expected to be seen up here?
Well, there's been kobolds seen up there and a couple of orcs. Maybe some goblins. I'm not entirely sure.
Morris, this looks like your kind of deal, I'd say.
Yes, we know you might yet smash somebody.
There has been rumour of a large black bear up there as well, but I'm not too sure.
I'll give that a nice big cuddle. I like bears.
Well, I've got to get back to work, so I'll mark the entrance of the mine on your map, and when you get what you need, if you can find my pick, come back and see me. Just ask for Gimme. I'll be at the local tavern at the end of my shift.
Gimme.
Before he leaves, I'll be like, "How much did you say for your pickaxe there?" 100
gold, sonny. You deef.
The one you're carrying.
Oh, that one. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Oh, you can have this one for 1 gold.
I'll take it.
So he gives you the pick and turns around, spins on his heel and just waddles on off as the wolves want to do. And it just turns back and goes, "Hey, don't forget to find me pick while you're up there, eh?"
I just kind of try to mimic him, like, "Alrighty."
He turns back and gives you the stink eye. He turns back and gives you a bit of a stink eye. Don't be a smart arse, son.
Don't you threaten my teammates, my friend, or there'll be big trouble.
He looks at you and goes, "Geez, you're a big one, aren't you?"
I beg your pardon?
He's looking up at you. I mean, he's 3 foot nothing, man. He's short. He's short. Even for a dwarf, he's short.
Well, I'm just going to stand over him and say, "Excuse me, did you just call me fat?"
Hit steps in and says, "Whoa,
No, I never
okay.
called you a fat lass. I called you a large one. You're a strong lass. I'd like to make babies with you. Come and see me afterwards."
I look at Het and I look at Ali. I'm like, what the hell is he on about?
walk away. Just walk away.
Right,
It's just their culture.
And
Right.
I'm just gonna kind of start walking. Just be like,
I just look my head down and go, I'll remember you later.
I'll remember you two last, don't you worry.
Right.
Hit leans over to Neymaris and says, I think he has a soft spot for you.
Don't know if it's very soft, love.
Funny, I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, awesome. Alright, you guys, you take your pick and you head on your way. You find the entrance easily enough, given the instruction you got from Gimby. The entrance looks intact, although you can tell the mine's not seen any mining activity for quite some time. Can I get everyone to roll a perception check for me?
God.
and you said that if I get lower than my...
If you get lower than your passive, take your passive. Yeah, just tell me whatever your passive is.
That'll be
Sure, that's 10.
9.
So you got a 10?
Yep.
So
Hit?
what? Investigation.
Perception.
You got a 10.
It gets 12.
So 12, 2 10s, and Alessandros?
15.
15. You all notice the tracks. There's a series of tracks that look like they're leading to and from the mine. Although like the mine doesn't look like it's seen any action. The tracks, there's some larger tracks and there's some smaller tracks and they're not recent, like recent, but they're definitely not very old either. And they're humanoid.
What's our plan of attack? This looks like something's been here, Neymaris.
I'll protect you.
I don't know about protection, but I mean,
I just turn to him,
We should just
And then-
take it.
and I look at him. I'm just like, for someone with such dangerous looks, you kind of worry too much.
I wasn't worried. I was more meaning, do we roll in all guns blazing, or do we take the cautious approach and actually see what we're attempting to do by getting this Orcrillium? Are we going to get attacked? That's more the take it easy, don't roll in headlong.
I think that might be a good idea. Although I'm
I mean-
quite happy to go in all guns blazing. Especially if there's orcs.
So you wanna you ready to enter into the mine entrance? Who again marching
I'd like to
order?
try and stealth first.
So, everyone want to stealth in? So everyone roll for stealth that wants to roll for stealth.
Oh boy.
Heads
No worries,
rolls for
Toby.
stealth for sure.
So remember, anyone who's wearing scale armor or scale plate or chain, you're at disadvantage on your stealth checks.
I got 16.
So 16 for Gillian, 3 for Neymaris,
Hit rolled 8.
8, and Alessandros.
Well, I did get 23, but if hit failed, damn.
Well, no, 23. This is it's a group thing as well, so that I can average it out based on the group as a whole, even unless someone rolls in that one, of course. But for all intents and purposes, you guys think yourself anyway. You roll on in. The entrance is a typical mine entrance. You've got you can see old cart tracks that obviously would have been taking out the ore and obviously rolling stuff back in. As you sort of walk into the entrance, there are lit torches. You can see in about 20 or 30 feet in front of you, there's a dimly lit torch. It's not burning brightly, but it's a small torch. So there's definitely something here.
Head definitely hangs to the rear.
So as you sort of step in, you don't really hear anything just yet. It's typical kind of. We'll change our soundtrack. It's an old abandoned mine, for want of a better term. You can water dripping from the ceiling in places. You can hear that sort of wind blowing through the tunnels, because obviously there's other entrances to the mine at some place, and you get that sort of wind sort of sound coming through the tunnels from time to time. As you sort of walk in, what's your marching order going in? You still 2x2 as you're going in, or you single file? Who's
like
in the
to be
lead?
Single file at the rear.
So Het wants to go at the rear. Who wants to take the lead?
I'll take out my great axe, hold it in my hand, and go first.
Okay, and who's after Namaris?
Yeah, I'll go after Namaris.
So then that'll put Gillian in towards the back there. So as you're walking in, Namaris, you move forward. Those of you with dark vision, it's dim light in here, so you can see, but it's very dim because there's torches sort of what looks like every sort of 30 to 40 feet, but they're only dim torches. They're not brightly lit. What you see when you first sort of step into the mine is you see a corridor that's roughly 10 to 12 feet wide, about 18 to 20 feet tall, and goes in maybe 100 feet before it looks like it turns and sweeps right.
Het pulls his lute forward, not strumming the chords, but whispers, "Hit the lights," and lights up the front end of the lute.
As you cast light, which is a 20-foot sphere, I believe.
Correct.
You light up the first 20 feet of the start of the mine there, and being at the back, it lights up pretty much everyone in front. And Neymar, she picks up a bit more light as well. You can see a little bit more in front. Because you don't have dark vision, you really can't see anything more than what I've described already. So there's old barrels, it looks like there's old lanterns that have been sort of discarded and dropped on the ground that are broken in that first sort of 30 or so feet. Again, you see more of the humanoid footprints, quite a few of the smaller ones, a few, 2 or 3 sets maybe of the larger ones, and you see your first large bear print.
Ooh.
With me being able to track, with my beast, as my character, my favorite enemy, would I know roughly how big it is?
Roll an investigation check with advantage on the tracks.
Okay. 18.
You determine that with the size of the track that this would be a rather large black bear.
Okay. I'm just gonna relay that to everyone. That bear is.
It's an adult. It's definitely large. It's not young. It's definitely seen a few seasons for sure. So how do you proceed?
I think we should proceed very carefully, actually.
I'm going to try and stick to the shadows and stealth my way.
I'm just going to move up to Namaris. I'm like,
yep.
Would you like me to take lead? I can kind of see better.
Actually, that probably might be quite...
So you want to swap with Gillian? So Gillian takes the lead, Namaris drops back.
I'm not too far behind.
So you want to go directly behind? Cool. You're sticking to the shadows as much as you can. You're all stealthing as much as you can with those rolls. As a group, you're not too bad.
Now, Namaris, don't get too close to my boyfriend.
Well, with my stealth check, I'm thundering through like a fairy fucking elephant.
Yeah, Namaris is not exactly quiet. She's got heavy footfalls. But she's stealthing as much as she can. I mean, it's just how she is. But now with you moving in the front, Gillian, with your 60-foot dark vision, you can clearly see that bend at the end of the tunnel. It veers off to the right. It's pretty much a straight tunnel. There's no sort of nooks and crannies. You got the arches in the mine, the wooden supports that every now and again, almost like a little bit of a rumble in the mine, and a bit of dust sort of falls from the ceiling as it sort of, you expect to see that in a mine. The footprints, again, they're not old, but they're not new either, so they're definitely recent. but you still, that's pretty much it. It's just a cavern, a corridor leading to a right-hand bend.
Yes.
So how do you want to proceed, guys? You want to keep walking forward?
You guys want to keep going up, or do you like? I guess I could go up and look.
Well, I think we need to keep going because we need to find this Oracrelium and this pick that we've been asked to find.
Agreed. Gillian, what do you think beer meat tastes like?
It's stringy. It's
Yeah, and you'd know. You've eaten beer.
before. I've eaten bear before, in real life too. It's stringy. It's better cooked and salted to be honest.
Blah, cooked. Okay.
But it's similar to wolf, but a little more hearty.
Excellent. Well, maybe if we find this beer, I shall try it.
I'd love to have its pelt.
That's fair call. I just would make one suggestion. I don't know what mines are normally made of, but with the rumbling and stuff around us, is it not pertinent maybe we keep a check out for stable bearings, load-bearing timber and things like that?
They look sturdy enough. Like, they're not... Nothing's broken or cracked. It's just it's the natural rumbling of the mountain itself. Like the Howling Mountains is an active volcano. So the rumbling is just general seismic activity. It's nothing too large. Like you don't hear it rumbling through the caverns. It's just every now and again there's just a slight shake, and you sort of hear that sort of like real low sort of rumble in the ground, and you just get that bit of dust. So it's nothing too...
What's the roof?
Nice one,
What's
Drax.
the roof height in here?
About 20
Nice,
feet.
Drax.
18 to 20 feet.
18 to 20. Excellent.
So do you continue moving forward?
That
So,
sounds
yeah.
like a good
Yes.
As you continue moving forward, you move slowly towards the first right-hand bend. As you round the bend, you... Basically, the light, again, every sort of 30 feet is a dimly lit torch, so that it's not dark. So even those without dark vision, you could probably see out to about 30 or 40 feet anyway. So with Het's light, it does make that a little bit more, so you could probably see out to about 60 feet without dark vision. Gillian, as you move forward and round that first bend, you see the next corridor, and it splits into two. One curling left, one curling right.
What do we do here then?
We have dice. We could always roll them.
I mean, we could roll the dice and for if we want to split
Drax.
up as well.
Head is not a fan of splitting a team. I can only aid so many people at once. I don't know how many of you are great healers, and that would be my guess that I would be the one here who would be doing the backing.
Oh, I'm not the healer. I'm the breaker.
Yes, as we know. And I've had to bring you back from the brink once. We would hate to see that happen again if I wasn't around, if we were to split.
Let's not talk about that again. Thanks.
I'd be thoroughly interested to hear about this.
I got bit by a snake.
Yes.
A snake? Of all things, a snake?
It was
Yeah.
a rather large snake in her defense.
I mean, I've never been bested by a beast.
Oh. That's good fighting words.
Right. Well, do we want to roll for left or right? See which way we want to go, or do we just go one and then come back? Go.
Maybe we put our faith in the tracker here. What do you think, Gillian, left or right?
Could I see which way there would be bear tracks?
Yeah, make an investigation check again with advantage.
Are we tracking the beer or are we tracking the Oracrelium?
Well, the Oracrelium's an ore, you can't really track it.
So I got a 3.
The 3. You look down the tracks, and the tracks go down both tunnels, and all the tracks. You got small humanoid, sort of small feet, like goblin-sized humanoid tracks. You've got orc-sized humanoid tracks. There looks like to be more small lizard type tracks as well. And obviously the bear tracks, and they seem to go down both tunnels. It's kind of hard to determine which one was more recent. You're gonna lie?
I'm gonna lie and just tell him to go to where the right looks the best. Like that's where the bear went for sure.
Okay, would you tell him that?
Did any of us notice this line?
It looks to me that the bear went to the right.
I'm
to the right it
I'm
is.
going to do a perception check.
So am I.
Well, it won't be perception. It'll be insight to see if he's lying or not.
And then should I roll
Alright,
deception?
insight then.
Yeah, roll a deception check.
17.
Well, I haven't got a fucking clue.
What'd you roll, Namaris?
7?
And Alessandros?
16.
16. As far as you're aware, he's telling the truth. So do you go down the right tunnel?
Then.
So we're going right there?
If he gets us killed, I'm going to come back and haunt him.
We don't know that, though.
So you turn down the right tunnel, and as you turn down the right tunnel, it sort of veers off slowly round to the left. Again, it's still around that sort of 10 to 15 feet wide, about 20 foot tall. Every 30 feet, still another dimly lit torch. Who was leading? Was Gillian? That was you?
That was me. Yep.
Can I get you to roll a dexterity saving throw, please?
18.
18.
Yep.
You, as you're walking through, as you take a step, the ground you step on, it doesn't feel right. And as you step, you hear this sort of ching, and you, where are we? You take 2 bludgeoning damage from a rock trap that you just triggered. You managed to sort of dive slightly off to the left and roll, only take half the damage that you would have taken otherwise. But
So
a
it
bunch
was
of
2?
yeah, just two bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
So as the rocks sort of fall from the right and roll down into it was like you could see where there was like a little tunnel had been built, and there was a mechanism there that was holding the rocks in place. And as you stood on the pressure plate, it just released those rocks, and they rolled down, and sort of one sort of hit you in the shoulder as you moved out the way, and you just took 2 bludgeoning damage. Now that tunnel is the right hand side, probably the right 8 to 10 feet, is considered rough, harsh terrain, because you got rocks everywhere now. And you guys see this. You guys sort of step back. You hadn't sort of been right there with them, otherwise you would have had to take the save as well. You sort of stop and go, whoa, as you hear the rumbling from the rocks.
As I get past, damn, he must be a smart bear.
I look at him and go, did you lie to us, you little shit?
Never.
And I'll say, with your checks before, you don't, as far as you're concerned, you told the truth. And
I'm
it's,
looking at him going, oh, I'm not sure about you now, because that doesn't look like you're going to be able to get through there.
It says, maybe something more than the bear here. You wouldn't expect miners to be trapped in a mine. Maybe we ought to be a little more cautious.
And then as he says that, I'm like, well, maybe these other beings in this mine are trying to kill the bear, for all we know.
Well, that sounds like a good idea, because, they don't want to be here with that big grizzly thing if it's not.
I don't know about you, but I've never heard of a bear being stoned to death.
Sure, I could find it some mushrooms.
I mean, those mushrooms were quite quite good, but I don't know if a bear would eat mushrooms.
So carry forward, maybe Alessandros, your skills, you could detect more traps in the future.
Yeah, sure.
So are you continuing to move forward?
You detect traps, do you? Thanks.
Maybe. Hang on, looking.
So you want to investigate? You'll have to move to the front to investigate for any further traps down the corridor. So you move to the front, checking for traps.
Yeah.
Roll a perception check. And add
I'm only
your
assuming Ellie's
proficiency.
skill set.
Yeah, add your proficiency modifier if you're proficient. And well, you would be. Do you have? What do you? Yeah, do you have proficiency in?
I don't think so.
Investigation, or because it'll be investigation check, or expertise.
No, I've only got proficiencies in slow your hand,
Stealth.
perception,
Okay,
and
so but you would have on your equipment. Let's have a look at here. Thieves' tools. Yeah, add your proficiency bonus. So roll an investigation and add your proficiency bonus to it. Looking for traps.
Minesweeper.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. So what's your total? Your investigation plus 3 plus, so it's 25 total. As you sort of proceed forward down that initial corridor, you find a portion of the corridor that just doesn't look quite right, and as you sort of rub your hand across the ground, you find a piece of rope that's just barely sitting above the ground. It's been covered by dust and dirt, and it's across the entire width of the corridor.
I tell the rest about the trap.
Good spotting, Ellie. I knew you were useful for something.
Do you wish to disarm said trap, or you want to just step over it?
Hellfire is
yeah.
up.
Tell us what type of trap it is there, Ellie.
Do I know what trap it is?
And with that investigation, you'd know it's a tripwire trap, and it's probably, and sort of investigating the area, you'd notice you've got a few small holes, like big enough to put a finger in, on either side of the tunnel, and you would assume that it's probably either an arrow trap or a poison dart trap.
Hang on, just going to check what I've got in my equipment.
So you've got eight holes on either side.
Okay, I'm going to take out my hemp rope.
Yep.
Carefully wrap it around the trip. And stand back a bit and pull.
So you're just going to trip the trap? Okay, so you carefully roll a dexterity check for me to see whether you can tie the rope onto the tripwire without tripping it. You better roll good, man. That's all I'm saying.
Can I re-roll?
What's your roll, dude? What's your roll?
I'm using inspiration. How's that sound?
Yeah, so you can re-roll a failed check if you've got the DM's inspiration. So,
Oh, fuck off.
what did you roll, dude?
Roll a 3. It's gonna hurt so bad.
As Alessandra kneels down and ever so carefully ties the rope, sort of pulls it down under the tripwire and goes to tie it off, goes to stand up and sort of carefully sort of lay the rope out so she can get a distance away from the trap. She stumbles and just jerks on the jerks on the tripwire. Make a dexterity saving throw.
I'm not sure if I want to now.
You got no choice, dude.
Oh, fuck. 4.
4? Dude, this is not good for you.
Take
See,
that
you
dice with a hammer.
this is, I'm gonna so you got 8 darts per side on the wall. I'd say with where you were, you're probably only going to get hit by maybe 4. First one's a hit, second one was a miss, third one was a miss, fourth one was a hit. So you got hit by 2 poisonous darts, and you take 3 points of poison damage, and you're now poisoned for 1 minute. So these darts, the first one sort of hits you right in the side of the neck, and the next one hits you in the ribs on the right hand side, and you sort of feel it, and you go, oh, and you guys see this green sort of, almost like the green sort of trace through the veins in Alessandra's neck, and she stumbles to one knee with that poison damage, and she's not looking too good. She's looking really green, for want of a better term. So pretty much, with you being poisoned, you can at the start of each turn for the next minute, you'll take 1d4 poison damage until it wears off or someone cures you of your poison.
Yeah, Tassie. Nice fucking dice.
At least the trap's been tripped, so the trap is now disabled.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome.
Hit moves to Alessandros' side and evaluates the situation. Says, Ellie, I have not anything to cure poison, I'm afraid, but I will be able to keep you alive, depending on how long this poison lasts.
Hang on. Where is it?
Yeah, make sure you guys check your resistances and things like that to make sure that you're not resistant to any of the kind of damage that you're taking as well.
Would a potion of healing help her?
Not
No,
for poison.
not for poison. No, it would have to be a potion of cure poison.
How about a nice mushroom?
What, you trying to get me high? Damn.
No.
It might help with the pain, Ellie.
Right.
I'm just gonna kind of like just watch down the tunnel they're dealing.
Yep, no worries.
Can I work out what sort of poison it is?
Roll a medicine check.
8. No, I've got no fucking clue.
8. Well, you pick up the dart. Well, you take the dart from your neck and you sort of sniff it and you taste it, and it's definitely poison. You know what this type. You sort of know what the poison. You know it's poison, but you're not sure what type of poison. So you wouldn't be able to understand sort of how long it takes to leave the body, or whether it's deadly or just an annoyance. But you're definitely feeling the effects of it. You're sort of headachy. Your saliva, like your mouth is salivating quite badly, and you feel like you need to swallow all the time, but you feel dehydrated at the same time. So you just don't feel right. You feel off. You're definitely feeling the effects of some form of poison. You're not 100% sure what it is.
Just because I'm worried and I don't want her to move too much, I'm going to pick her up and chuck her over my shoulder and carry her for.
Roll.
I'll be good.
Uh,
I'll be good.
You don't allow it? Okay.
Nope.
Alessandro says no.
No, it's fine then.
I don't want to go throwing up over your shoulders.
Oh right. I got it.
So
You'd be-
yeah, so as you guys are sort of dealing with this sort of situation, you hear in sort of round the next bend, you hear in the distance a sort of almost like the clanging of metal on rock a few times, and then you hear a low growl, and then more metal on rock.
That does not sound good.
It sounds relatively close, almost like it's round the very next bend.
Hit. Pulls his loot forward in preparation for what's coming next.
Are we going to proceed forward? And if so, what's your marching order?
Hit keeps to the back.
Hits at the back.
I just looked at him. Would you like me to take the lead as I chose this path?
I look at him.
That would
and
be-
I'm like, I'm sorry, but no. I'll take out my
Okay.
axe again and go.
Okay, so Namaris takes the lead. Gillian second.
I'll go second.
You go second.
I'll be doing perception checks for more traps.
Okay, that would be investigation for traps.
Yeah, that too.
Because you're specifically looking for traps. So you can go 2 by 2. You don't have to go single file. It's up to you guys.
I'd like Ali to be with me just so I can keep my eye on her.
Okay.
Never mind about her. Hit will keep his eye on her.
Right. So roll another investigation check as you round the next bend, and Namaris roll a perception check, please.
We got 10.
10.
9.
So you got 9. So you don't see any more traps. As far as you know, the it's clear. As you sort of start rounding that next bend, now Maris, as you go round a sort of a slight right bend and it curves back round to the left. And as you sort of get to the corner, we will go to the map.
Wait, before you. Oh, okay, you can go to the map. That's good. I just called to Damaris. Before you run ahead, come to me for a second. And I start to say, I don't play the lute. I say this to her. I put my hand on her shoulder and I say, we shall fight in grounds. We shall fight in these tunnels. We shall fight till all our friends' lives depend on it. We shall fight to the end and we shall never surrender. And I give her bardic inspiration.
Awesome. So explain what that does for her.
That gives you a D4 on your some of your rolls.
Hits and saves, I think it is.
It's I'm checking it now. Attack roll and saving throws, correct. So you get to add a D4 to your attacks and saving throws, just Namaris.
Thank you.
At this point in time.
Right. So as you guys enter this cavern, Namaris, you see them first. As you're the first one to round the corner, you see 2 orcs, and a large black bear. They haven't seen you as yet. One orc looks like he's carrying 2 makeshift short swords. They look like they're probably handmade, but they're definitely functional and are designed for maximum damage. The other orc, you see, they look like they're both wearing sort of makeshift leather armor. The other one's got a simple blade. Again, looks like it's handmade, but again, very functional, and a wooden shield looks like it's been fashioned out of an old door. It sort of looks like he's cut it up and put a handle on it. And this large black bear, which looks like it's traveling with the second orc, the one with the shield.
Can I kind of just go up to one of the orcs? Hello. So would you be able to show me maybe in the
Jesus
direction
Christ.
of the orc?
Do you speak orc by any chance?
No, I don't. Goblin, Quarian, Undercom. So I go up to them and go, blur and blur. Is that right?
Okay. As you walk up to the orc, he instantly goes into battle stance and just grunts at you. And you can tell he's aggressive. If you come any closer, he's going to attack you. The other orc takes a step forward in a defensive position as well, and the bear moves up with him.
Right.
Evil, you cut out there when.
Oh
yeah,
I
didn't hear that.
Sorry, they both move forward like sort of 5 yards in a real defensive position. So they are getting ready to attack. They don't want you there. Does anyone speak Orcish by any chance?
No.
Oh no, giant.
No.
Common.
Okay, so you don't understand. They're speaking in Orcish, basically saying, "Get, and he's pointing at you and like really an aggressive sort of stance. Both of them are now sort of have come almost shoulder to shoulder, and you can tell they do not want you there. They will attack you if you do not leave.
Evil, how big are these orcs?
They're a medium creature. They probably stand about Namaris' height, maybe a little bigger.
So for me specifically.
Yes. Roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay. 3.
You are terrified. You don't back away, but you sort of you visibly start shaking, and you feel those nerves come up, and you just sort of you sort of go your mind goes blank, and you're filled with fear.
Hit at this point before anything goes any further. Just grabs his lute and strums a minor little disordinate chord and says, I give this group the blessing of the Great One. And I cast Bless.
On the whole group?
On the, well, let's have a look here.
Because I'm
Up to
pretty
3 creatures.
Up to 3 creatures. So
So I've already given
pick your 3
Damaris.
creatures.
Yeah, I will take Gillian, Alessandros, and Namaris will all get the bless. Alright, so that gives you, whenever you make an attack roll or a saving throw, you can roll a d4, add it to the number you roll. Very similar to what I already just gave Namaris.
So you guys have your bless. So yeah, you can add a d4 to your attack or saving throws. And I'll get everyone to roll initiative.
Can I get you to tilt your camera up a bit?
Oh, you'll be moving into the room very shortly. So, but I can move it up just a touch.
Got 11.
17.
Hang on a minute. I've got to type stuff out. So give me a second, guys.
Yeah.
So, Alessandros, what'd you get?
I'm going to be last. I got an 8.
An 8.
No, you are not.
Gillian?
11.
11. Hit?
7
7.
by 1.
And Namaris?
17.
17. Nice.
Go, Namaris.
And
shall
I
go
will
on to
roll.
the end.
I will roll for the orcs as soon as I bring up their sheet. And we get the first one rolls a. Yeah, they rolled the same. That works out really good. And the bear will be on the second orcs initiative.
I was just gonna say, do I notice anything weird about this bear? But I'm kind of,
No, you don't. I mean, the bear. It's a black bear. That pretty much what you know it to have been. When you tracked it, you knew it was a large black bear. So it's a little bit larger than normal.
Okay.
But it's just a black bear.
Probably all the half elves he's been eating.
And I'll just get the black bear's HP. Right, so the initiative order, Namaris is first on the initiative. So these guys, again, they are aggressive. They haven't attacked you yet. They definitely don't want you there, but you get the sense that this is pretty much where you need to be to find your Krillium.
Right. So I see their aggression, I match it with my own.
So do you want to move forward, or you want to stay where you are?
I'm going to get right up in the face of this one I see him as on my right.
On your right or my right? So this one
Your
here?
left.
This one or this one? That one?
That one.
Can't quite get right to him, but you get 30 feet. What's your movement speed, sorry? Is it 30 or 40?
30 feet.
Yeah, so you can't quite get to him.
Am I in range of a hand axe?
You could throw a hand axe, yes.
Right, I'm going to throw my hand axes, because I've got 2 of them.
Don't forget you can rage too. You've got a bonus action to rage.
Not yet.
You don't want to rage? Okay. So you're going to throw your hand axe at him, so roll to hit.
Well, that one just goes straight past his head.
What was the throw?
1. One.
And that one, yeah, you grab your hand axe and you just whoosh, and it goes, and you hear it hit the rock behind him in the darkness. Ka-ting, ka-ting, ting, ting.
Shit. So with my second one.
Do you get 2 attacks?
Yeah, bonus action. It's 2 weapon fighting.
Yes, you got 2 from fighting. Yes, you do. Well done.
That's a bit better. That's like a dirty
30, 20. Yep, that definitely hits. So roll 1d6 plus 2. Actually, no, 1d6. Sorry, for a hand axe that's thrown, you don't get your proficiency. That's just a 1d6.
Yeah, the plus D4 attack.
That's not for damage. It's for your attack. If you
okay.
you add it to your attack roll or your saving throws. So it's just a 1d6 damage.
Alright, got 3.
3, so 3 damage on orc number 1. It's not bad. It's a good start. And is that your turn?
Can I break my axe, is that?
Well, no, because you threw one away, and the other one's now sticking in an orc's chest. Because as you throw it at him, and it goes, and it just hits him right in the chest plate, and it's gone through his armor, but not hugely. It sort of he takes damage, and he sort of snorts at you, and just looks at you, and just bears down, sort of puffs up his chest, and brings his swords up ready for the attack. Gillian, you are next on the initiative order.
Do I have to try to save?
Yes. Start of this turn, you don't save. You just have to take. You'll take 2 poison damage.
No. I was talking about my frozen.
Oh yes. You're stunned for the round, so you don't actually get a turn. You're just fully stunned, but you take 2 points of poison damage from the poison.
I didn't get hit.
Who got poisoned? Alessandros. That's you. Sorry, not my bad. I got confused. I didn't put a marker on it. That's right. Yes. So you stunned for this round, so you miss your first initiative because of your fear.
Okay.
So you're essentially the frightened condition until the start of your next turn. So that would mean Alessandros.
Battle then.
Yeah. So Alessandros, you take 2 points of poison damage at the start of your turn, and it's now your turn on the initiative.
All right, I move up one of the squares next to Namaris. Hello?
He's moving you.
Yeah, that's as far as you can get, because you've only got 30 feet of movement as well. So that's pretty much as close as you can get there.
How far is that?
That puts you basically 20 feet within 20 foot of range of the first orc, and about 25 feet away from the orc with the bear.
All right, I'll use my dagger that I have ready and throw it at the orc that Namaris is.
Roger that. So roll for attack. D20.
That's the D4 as well?
No, just roll your D20 to hit first. So D20. So for your actions, you've got a dagger, so it's D20 plus 4.
But he would get plus? Yeah.
Because he's got bless, you add the 4 to your attack roll if you need it.
Okay, so I just rolled 18.
That hits.
So now roll for damage, yeah?
Now roll for damage, and as it is thrown, you get a 1d4 plus 2.
4.
So you got 4 damage, and you now only have 1 weapon because you've only got 1. You just threw your dagger away.
I know.
4 damage to orc number 1, and you sort of just grab your dagger out of your belt and sort of underhand flick it, and it hits him right. Your skills as a rogue, you're pretty good. You hit him right between the sort of seams on his leather armor, and it sinks right into his chest, and he sort of rocks back a little bit, and then sort of looks up and just turns his head to you and snarls, and basically he's not happy. He's been hit twice now. He's getting really pissed off.
Awesome.
That's your movement and your action. You've got a bonus action as well, if you want to use it.
Can I get my other dagger out?
Your other dagger?
Yeah.
That's right, you've got another dagger on your equipment, yep. That will... Generally it takes an action to equip the weapon.
I'll leave it then.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a rapier on your offhand.
That'll do for the time being.
Yeah. I mean, because you've got a... Yeah, generally it takes an action to equip the weapon, so we'll say that you can't grab that one out.
No, all good.
Just remember you don't have that second dagger. You can either mark it off your inventory or just make a note of it, and you can probably pick it up later anyway. So that's your turn, Het. It'd be your turn, sir.
Yes. Het stays where he is. He will not move. He would like to... looking at the group, we'll hold off some crazy mending spells. He will like to... only one orc has been damaged, is that correct?
Yep, the orc that's standing in front of Neymaris, which is, from what you can estimate, around 55 feet from where you are, is the only one that's taken damage.
Yes. He will cast, from the front of his loot, leaning it forward, and he will cast Sacred Flame. And I haven't actually got a song for Sacred Flame, not at this point in time. So just strum a chord or two, fire a flame out of the guitar.
Sacred Flame, right? Gotta remember what Sacred Flame does.
So, flame like
Sacred
radiance
Flame.
descends on a creature in range, which is easily in range.
Dick saving
Target
throw.
must succeed Dick save.
Rolled a natural 18. So he
save.
makes the save. Is it just for half damage?
No, it's a cantrip. You save for no damage. It
Okay.
misses.
Okay, so that you fire off your Sacred Flame, you pull up your loot, you play the chord, and the radiant damage just emanates from the front of the loot and fires out and directly weaves in and out between your friends, and just it's almost like it was slightly out of range, and it sort of dissipates before it hits the target. It's shocked him a little bit. The orc sort of looks up and sort of wonders what was going on. He's not seen this type of magic before, and it sort of startled him a little bit, but takes no damage.
Excellent. That is me.
That is your turn. Orc number 1 now has a turn. He's got a dagger and a hand axe sticking out of his chest right now. He's not happy. He's angry. He's been hurt. So he's going to just charge forward directly towards Rocky into Neymaris there. He is going to, with his weapon as twin blades there, he's going to make 2 attacks against you, Neymaris.
Alright.
The first one is a 15.
Shit.
And the second one is a 13.
Best.
So the first one hits, and he hits you with 6 points of slashing damage. And he's pretty much going to stay there. And the second orc, seeing his friend, well, not so much seeing his colleague, friend, comrade, whatever, seeing him being attacked, and noting now his friend's rolled into combat, the second one's just going to, basically, as a bonus action, he's just going to move straight into combat with Alessandros. And the bear will follow. So he in turn will make a single attack at you, Alessandros, with his short sword. That is a, what are we looking here? 17 to hit.
You're trying to kill us, right, aren't you?
So I'll take that. Definitely hits, and you take 7 points of slashing damage from the orc, and the bear is also going to take an attack at you. And what's we got there? He's going to take a single bite attack at you, and rolls a 9.
Thank God.
I'm pretty sure that misses.
Yeah.
And that's their turn. So we are now back to the top of the initiative order. Neymaris,
He's going to rage.
you are going to rage. You are raging.
Yep.
Hell yes.
So, I am going to, with the person that's right in front of
Yes.
I'm going to grab my great axe out.
You already got it out.
No, I had my
Oh
hand
no,
up.
that's right. So you're gonna yes, okay. Action. Well, you've always got it out, I would say. It's on your back, so we'll...
Yep. So I'm going to pick it up and
Yeah.
I'm going to swing it.
So make your attack. What was your attack? Remember you got bless as well.
What's attack +4? And then I get +4. So
Do you
I'm
roll
gonna
your
go
you roll your d4 on top of that? It's not +4. So what was your roll?
1
Oh, yeah. So you
plus
total.
1. Oh no, sorry, +2.
Yeah,
it's a three.
you raise your great axe above your head and you swing down and the orc he's seen it coming, just dodges out of the way and it
Hang on.
clangs down on the rocks at his feet.
If I add the 4 to it, I get 10.
Still doesn't hit.
Shit.
Yeah, their AC's a little bit higher than that. So unfortunately your attack, your first action there it misses. It hits the ground beside him. He sort of dodges out of the way and then back to a ready stance, ready to attack you again.
And I can't do that again, can I?
No, you've only got a single attack. You've got a... Well, no, being a two-handed weapon, you've only got your single-handed attack. For your two-handed fighting, you'd have to have 2 simple weapons. So you only get the 1 attack.
I kind of threw my hand axes away, so...
Yeah, you kind of threw them. Well, yeah, you did. Just remember to go through your racial traits and that as well, and just remember the bits and pieces you've got for that.
Oh.
Just remember, you've got advantage on insight checks too.
Okay, got reckless attack as well.
Yeah, so you just got to remember to, if you want to add that, yeah, remember it. And also too, you have advantage on dex saving throws as well. So just remember those little things. They can come in handy. So that's the end of your turn. So Gillian, you don't need to make another wisdom saving check. You've sort of shaken yourself out of it. Your initial reaction was just like, oh shit, and you went into this real frightened sort of fight or flight sort of thing, and you've snapped yourself out of it. You've seen Namaris take damage, you've seen Alessandro's take damage, and that sort of snaps you out of it. You instinctively are now in combat mode.
Can I make it up to the bear? Is that close enough or no?
Yeah. You got 30 feet?
Yeah.
Yep, you can get into melee with the bear.
Alright, that's what I'm gonna do. And
Alright, make your attacks.
I have my short sword, so that's just a 19.
19, that hits.
For my first one.
Roll both your attacks.
Okay. That one is 11.
They both hit. That second one just hits. So roll for damage. So you don't add your proficiency to your offhand. So you get your 1d6 plus 3 for your main hand, and then just a 1d6 for your off.
That's 8.
Yep.
And then it would be 2.
So 10 total damage on the bear. Nice, well done. And that was your action, bonus action, and your movement.
Yep.
You're done. So you guys noticed that initially Gillian had just frozen. Wait, what?
Wait, that was my favorite enemy, wasn't it?
Yeah, you would give you advantage on attacks, but you hit him anyway.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So normally with your favorite enemy, you'd get advantage on the attack.
Okay.
It pays to take it in case you get a.
Well, in case you get a nat 20, roll your two attacks again, just in case, because then we can add some damage. But yeah, just remember your feats and traits and things.
Nah. I got
No.
A 10 and an 8.
Actually, so just to clarify, so favorite enemy gives you advantage on survival checks to track your favorite enemy, as well as intellect checks on to recall information about them. You don't get advantage on the attack, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
And your natural explorer, again, it's the same thing. Gives you advantage on intellect or wisdom checks related to it. So again, investigation, history, things like that. So the tracking was right. We had that right. Just remember that. But no, 10 damage is still pretty good though. And now Elishandris. Oh, hang on, I haven't finished it. Yeah, so essentially, you watch him. He was terrified initially. Upon seeing the damage taken by the other characters, Gillian rolls into the bear and just double attack. Both attacks slash you across the bear's face, and bear took some pretty serious damage. Big open wounds across its face, and it's bleeding quite heavily. Elishandris, your turn.
I'm still poisoned, aren't I?
No, your poison effect has now worn off. You're no longer poisoned.
All right. So I'm going to attack the bear.
You're going to attack the bear? Yeah, well, he's right beside you and the orc, so I'll let you attack the bear, and you'll get sneak attack damage as well because you got an ally within 5 feet.
Fuck me.
What was your roll?
Nat 1.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Okay.
These rolls!
Okay. But, as you said, read up on features and all that.
Yep.
Cunning action. I can use dash, disengage, or hide. I'll use disengage to back.
So you're not going to make your second attack? You do have 2 attacks.
I can't make a second
attack. Oh, no, you're right. You only got a single weapon at the moment because you haven't. But you can use your bonus action to dash it. So you're going to disengage, and which way are you going to go? Just straight back. You've got up to your 30. You've got up to your 30 feet of movement on the disengage.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, so straight back 30 feet.
Yeah, because I won't survive another hit.
Right. So Elishandris retreats after missing on the bear with a nat 1. She strikes out with rapier and just gets nothing but air straight across the bear's head. Obviously, the poison damage and the damage she's taken. Your vision's blurred. You're not entirely sure where you are. You know, and you disengage, knowing that if you take another blow, you may not survive. So you retreat. Now we have, I believe, Hit.
Excellent.
Master Bard.
Hit knows exactly what he's going to do. How close did Elishandris get to him?
10 feet.
Hit will walk forward the remaining 10 feet and put his hand... Well, actually, he won't put his hand anywhere.
You sure?
He will touch the back of the lute's head to Elishandris, and he will sing and play, "Don't you die tonight." And he will cast. I thought that was good.
That was awesome.
He will cast Cure Wounds.
Cure Wounds?
On Elishandris. It's a 1d8 plus 3, which I will do right now.
1d8 plus 3, awesome.
That is a total of 8.
So, Elishandris, you heal 8 points of healing from Mr. Hit.
Thank you.
I was watching. That is all for me.
That is all for you, no problems. Now it's the Orc's turn again. Orc 1 is going to, again, just lay into Namaris. He's rolling to combat. He's just totally focused on you. So he's going to make his 2 attacks. One is a... What do we got here? One is a plus 5. So 21 and an 18 to hit.
Well, you hit me both times.
And you take 9 points of slashing damage, halved to 4 because of your rage.
Oof, okay.
And that is pretty much all he's going to do. He's not going to take a bonus. That was his action and bonus action. So
okay.
That's Orc 1. Orc 2 is going to join his bear, and since Elishandris has run away, he sort of snorts and looks at you and says something to you, not quite sure what it is, and then turns and faces Gillian and attacks with his short sword, which is a 15 to hit.
That hits. 1 up.
And you take 4 points of slashing damage. And the bear is going to take a So yeah, he just comes at you, sort of in behind his shield, brings his sword up and comes down onto your shoulder blade, on the top of your shoulder, and sort of hits the top of your arm, and it sort of slides in, and it penetrates your armor. It's not huge amount of damage, but it's enough. You sort of feel it sort of drops you down a little bit, and you sort of drop back and steady yourself again. And right as that sort of happens, the bear comes in and makes 2 attacks, a bite attack and a claw attack. The claws are 11 to hit.
Does not hit.
The claws miss, and the bite was a 14 to hit.
That's the same. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, so if it's the same, it hits. So you take 4 points of piercing damage from the bite. So as the bear comes in, he swipes along with his left-hand claw, and then it sort of glances off your leg armor, the leather, the hide that you've spent time curing and making yourself while living in the forest. You've made some pretty good hide armor, and it just glances off the armor. But as you sort of turn and with the force of the hit, he sinks his teeth into your forearm and bites down onto your arm, and you take that 4 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And that is the bear's turn. We're back to the top of the table, top of the round. Namaris.
Right, I'm still raging.
Still raging.
Yeah, it goes for 10 turns.
That
10 rounds.
keeps going as long as you take damage. So
I am going to go with my great axe again.
Yep.
And I am going to go at that one that hit me because I'm not very happy. And that is a 21.
That hits.
That's a hit.
So yeah, 1d12 plus 2.
Just looking for my D12.
Yeah, don't forget if you're going to use reckless attack, announce it before your attack.
Reckless attack.
You've already rolled. You have to announce it before you roll. I don't think you have that yet, do you? Oh, you do. Yeah. So you got to announce it before you roll. But you've already rolled this, so it's not reckless. So just a 1d12 plus 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just like, what are you looking at?
It's under your features and traits. It gives you. It's when you make the first token, you can decide to act recklessly and give advantage on melee weapon attack rolls. So it gives you advantage, but it also gives them advantage on rolls against you.
Right, next time. And then I've got my inspiration, which is a bloody good thing, because that's like...
It doesn't go on your hit. It doesn't go on your damage. It's only on your hits and saves.
Oh, big.
So what's your damage?
Right, well, that's like 5.
5 damage? So there's just 5 slashing damage?
That is 5 slashing damage.
And you raise your great axe around, you sort of swing it down and come down onto that top of the shoulder armor, and it glances off the armor and straight into the flesh of the orc. And you watch him, he drops to one knee, and you sort of have to give it a good solid tug to get the axe out. It buried it sort of a couple of inches into his shoulder there. He's not looking good at all. He's looking pretty rough. Bonus action? Movement?
I might... No, I think I'll stay where...
Okie dokie. So that's you. Next in line, Gillian again. Back to you.
Would taking a potion be my action?
Yes.
Okay, so with a bonus action, I'm going to disengage back towards Alchandras.
Do you have disengage?
Yeah, it's on my actions in combat. Attack, cast, a spell, dash,
Oh, you do too.
Dodge. Yeah. I'm gonna
Disengage will be an action
That's
for
an action for you. Yeah, because you're a ranger, so that's an action, not a bonus action.
Okay, so I'm just gonna drink my potion right here.
Okay, so you take a potion. So 2d4 plus 4. Yeah, I say because disengage is a rogue thing for a bonus action.
6.
So you heal six points of heal, and yeah, because you're taking this damage, you grab your potion and you know you're going to get hit again sometime soon, so you down that potion and you heal 6 points.
Okay.
And that is your action. I don't think you have anything you can use in a bonus action. That's part of your 2-weapon fighting, so you can still make an attack with your bonus action.
Sure. I'll attack the bear with my. Is that with the short sword? Then?
That'll be with your short sword. So again, d20 plus 5.
8.
8. That misses, unfortunately. You swing. You've taken the potion and you swing with your offhand, and it's a wild swing. You're still reeling from the attack from the bear previously, and it's a wild swing. It just misses, goes over the bear's head, and the bear sort of ducks under and growls back up, and the bear then stands up on its hind legs, and it's standing like 8 feet above you. Make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh God.
15. You initially you reel back, and that fear starts to grip you again, and you feel it, and you just sort of you shrug it off, and you think, no, I'm not going to fall to that again, and you're fine. You saved that by 1. It was a DC 15. You pretty much rolled exactly what you had to do, so you did well. Next in line is Alessandros.
We've got the bear.
You're going to attack the bear?
Yep.
Sweet. What are you going to attack the bear with? Is the thing? You're going to throw.
Rapier.
You're gonna roll into melee attack with the bear.
Yeah.
Roll to hit.
Sneak attack.
Yes, you roll to hit first.
Yeah.
I'll give you flanking on this, so you get advantage on the attack roll.
Yeah, pretty much missed anyway. I rolled a 6.
You get advantage, so you roll
Don't forget
twice.
the bless as well.
So roll 2 d20s, take the highest.
7.
Dude, your rolls are...
Roll a d4 for the bless.
Add your d4.
2.
So you got... So that's what, 9?
9. Not enough.
Not enough. You just missed the bear. It's so close. You come in with your rapier, and you sort of go to swipe at it, because it's standing up. You hit it, but it seems to just find fur. The fur and hide are really thick, and
Give it a haircut. Okay.
just a bunch of you see this big puff of fur as it comes off, and I mean, you give it it's a bit of a trim, a little bit of a trim. You do have a bonus action as well, so you can attack with your offhand. Did you equip your other dagger or not?
Well, in that case, enough room to move behind.
You want to move? That's pretty much your full movement to get there. So you've got no more movement.
Dash. Cunning action. Dash.
It doesn't give you any extra movement when you're disengaged and your dash. Because you've already used an action, you can't use a bonus. Oh no, you can use a bonus action to dash, can't you? So you want to dash another 30 feet?
Yeah, behind the bear.
The bear will get an attack of opportunity unless you stay within melee range, in which case you can't really dash, because the dash is moving a full 30 feet of movement.
Yeah, full dash.
So you're going to take the attack of opportunity from the bear?
Yeah.
The bear attacks you with a... What is your plus on there? 11.
Misses. I got 13 for armor.
Ooh, you were lucky. As you run past, the bear sort of turns and swipes down with one large paw, and it scrapes across the back of your armor. You almost stumble as just the weight of the bear's paw sort of slapping on the back, but you take no damage, and you sort of stumble forward. And that is your turn. Next in line is Het.
Het is really hoping his team doesn't die at this point.
Oh.
Everyone is in bad positions. Het will just look at the worst looking orc, really.
Yeah, that's the one. The one's engaging with
again.
Sacred Flame. No worries. So it's a Dex
Dig
save.
safe.
Natural 16.
He saves again.
Again, it's the sacred flame. He fires it, and this time it hits the orc's armor, and the orc sort of just shakes it off, and you're worried. You look at it and go, you don't understand why. Why is it not working? It should hit, and they got pretty good decks.
Excellent. That is all Hit can do.
And that's all Hit can do. So Orc 1 again is going to attack Damaris, and with just a single attack this time, rolled a 3. So that is a miss. He comes in, his one arm that he got attacked before, the shoulders are so damaged he can't even pick up his sword. He's pretty rough, and he just swings with his offhand and just hits your armor, your leather armor that you got on, and just glances off, doing no damage. Orc 2. Again, Gillian. Well, what would Orc 2? Yeah, Orc 2 is going to stay there, and he's going to make an attack against Gillian with a 11.
Does not
hit. Swings his sword, comes down hard, and you just deflect it with your own sword. You see it coming, and you just deflect it off, and he sort of snorts and growls at you, and moves up with his sword and bashes his sword with his sword, and almost like he's calling something. So that's the instinct. You think he might be calling something into the fray by bashing his shield with his sword. And that's his turn. The bear is going to turn and chase Alessandros. You get an attack of opportunity, Gillian. So roll a d20 and add your attack bonus. 12. That does hit. So roll for damage on your short sword, which
with
is
my 3.
Yep. So 1d6 plus 3. 4 damage, and the bear is not looking happy, man. You hit him right across the back of his legs, and you think you might have severed an artery or something, because the amount of blood was huge, and the bear stops dead in its tracks and just turns. So it only makes it 5 feet from you, and stops there. And it doesn't continue the pursuit, and he's looking pretty rough now too. So we are now back to the top of the order. Namaris.
Go on, Namaris.
Right.
You can kill him.
I'm just looking at this little orc dude in front of me, and I'm still not happy.
Right,
So
just
I'm-
before you do that, Namaris, just quickly, it's 10:35. We do have more combat to do. We're not going to carry on through the entire combat. We're just going to finish with these 3, and then we'll call it there, because I know Baz has work tomorrow, and other people have, obviously, we don't want to be up too late. Savage, you're like way early in the morning. But more so for Baz, because I know he's got kids, and he's probably got an early start. So we'll just
All
finish.
good. Appreciated.
Yeah, we'll just finish this basic initiative, but we'll probably introduce the other combatants, and then we'll pick it up in the next episode. So carry on, Namaris.
Alright, I am going to... reckless attack.
Reckless attack. Okay, so roll with advantage, I believe.
Because I've still only got my great axe, so it's going to be that.
Yeah, it's just that's all you really need to do is you. So with reckless attack, you gain advantage on melee attack rolls using strength during this turn. So you essentially roll 2d20s, take the highest.
Right, that makes it 5 plus and 3 for my.
What? You're not making sense, and I can't hear you.
We've still got blessed.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so roll 2d20s, take the highest. So what did you roll?
I rolled a 12.
Plus 4 is 16.
Plus 4 is
That
16.
hits, so you don't need your bless because it hits.
Okay.
So then roll your d12 plus 2. You might want to keep a D12 separate so you know where it is. Because your rounds are taking almost as long as everybody else together.
10.
The 10 damage on the first orc.
Sorry, 12.
12 damage. Explain how you want to kill this dude. He is dead. Explain how you do it.
Pick my axe up and I bring it over my head and I just chop him straight down. He splits in half and I stand there going, "That'll show you."
Yeah, so you guys see this. Damaris, she's raging. You can see that red glow emanating from her eyes and from around her head, and she raises the axe up and lets out a massive battle cry, brings the axe down right down on top of the orc's head, and it cleaves him in two. You hear that axe hit that concrete and a shower of sparks, and then you just watch the orc just split and just fall into two. Blood and like the entrails just fall out across the floor, and Namaris is just covered in blood from the spray.
Cool.
So that is one orc down.
Looks like what we're eating tonight.
That is pretty much you, isn't it, Namaris? You don't have a bonus action. Yep. No, you're good. Then who was next? We have Gillian again next. So the bear's moved out of your melee range, but the orc handler is still there within melee with you.
I'm gonna attack the orc.
Okay.
2.
Go ahead and attack the orc.
And then I get plus. Is it +4 for bless?
For bless you. Tell me what you rolled on your d20 for your first attack.
I got 2.
2.
So 7.
So yeah, that still doesn't hit. That's definitely a miss.
And
you swing wildly with your first strike. It misses. Your second strike
was 15.
That hits.
And then +5. That's 20.
Yeah, that hits. That's a definite hit. So you hit with your second. So again, just a 1d6.
2.
You do 2 damage on the first orc.
I don't have +3.
Or the second orc there. So as you slide him with your first attack, you big haymaker swing, and he just brings his shield up, and it just clatters off the side of his shield, big splinters of wood. And as he's got his shield up to block that first strike, you come in with his second strike and just up under his belly and a bit of a gash just above his belt line. He took it. He hasn't taken any damage thus far, so he's still looking pretty good. He's definitely not happy with you, and he again bash on his sword. And with that, Namaris will be the first one to see them because she's not in combat. 3 goblins come rushing from one end, from the other end of the cavern. Now we have Alessandros. You see them as well because you're sort of looking in that direction.
Well, I about face and go straight back to the bear.
Straight back to the bear.
And if I remember correctly, Bear's looking at Gilly.
He is, so you'll get advantage on the attack, which will give you your sneak attack on the first attack. So roll for your attack. So roll 2 d20s and take the highest. And that's
20.
Nat 20, awesome. So you'll roll 2 d8s and add your proficiency modifier. Because even though you've only got the one weapon at the moment, you will add your proficiency because you would have switched it to your main hand. So 2 d8s, add +2, and then roll your sneak attack damage. So roll 2d6 for your sneak attack damage as well.
2d6? I thought it was 1.
You get that doubled with the crit. And that 20 is a critical hit, so you double all your dice.
Okay, so with the 2d8s, that's 7.
7, so +2 is 9, so that's 9 damage on the bear.
Plus 8 for the sneak
So hold that second attack. Hold that sneak attack damage as well. So yeah, so 8 with a sneak attack damage. Yeah, that. How do you want to do it, man? The bear is dead. It's so you explain how you kill him.
Yeah, I come up behind the bear and just slash straight up the side of the bear,
So,
leaving having the intestines slither.
okay, so as Alshonus returns, she creeps kind of stealthily up to behind the bear who's taken damage from and is focused on Gillian, and grabs the rapier and brings it up and comes down to the side of the bear and just goes straight through the side of the bear, carving off a huge section of meat off one side. And before the entrails and everything sort of sit there for a minute, and the bear sort of goes, growls and moans, and then sort of rears up and turns. And as it rears up and turns, all the entrails and guts and intestines just start to slide out and this great big steaming pile on the floor. And as the bear's head sort of lolls back, its eyes roll back, and its tongue sort of lit one side, and it just sort of falls, slumps to one side. Dead bear, well done. So
Awesome.
We've just got an orc to go, and he's still looking pretty good. He's only taken the 4 points of damage.
So the bear didn't shock him then.
No. So he's now looking a little worried. He's kind of surrounded. He bashes his sword for bashes his sword on his shield for a second time, and you guys can hear more voices from the cavern. So Hit, your turn.
Hit will try another time. And this time he's got
Sacred Flame.
Yeah, pulls out the loot and says, "Fire in the hole!" and drops Sacred Flame on that sucker.
And he rolls a nat 5, so that's a failure on the deck save. So what's the damage on that?
That is,
if I remember rightly, 1d8.
3 damage.
3
Yeah,
damage,
1d8.
3 radiant damage. Adds damage. The Sacred Flame, as Hit pulls out this awesome vocal range, and it echoes within the caverns, and the orc sort of looks up and then gets slammed with this radiant beam of light. Almost knocks him off his feet. He sort of stumbles back a couple of steps and takes the 3 radiant damage. Definitely that rocked him. He is still okay-ish. You can see the blood from the first attack, and that radiant damage has left a bit of a scorch mark on his armor and up his neck, so he's looking pretty rocked. Now and bonus action movement.
So, as movement, I believe you could probably check this in 5e, I'm going to swap my loot out for my crossbow.
I believe you can do that as using your movement to swap a weapon, yes?
Correct. So I've swapped my loot for the crossbow at this point in time, and that was all I will do.
Not a worry, that's done. Orc 2's turn. So Orc 2, he's sort of looking around thinking, man, he's not sure what to do. So again, he's going to do the only thing he really can do. He doesn't want to move away from Gillian. He wants you all to die, so he's just going to attack Gillian with a nat 1. He misses completely. Holy crap! He swings his sword and that radiant damage rocked him so much. He swings and he just nothing but air. Just swings right across your head. He's obviously quite a bit taller than you, and he's misjudged, and it almost twists him around. He sort of swings and a little bit off balance. So that brings us back to the top of the round. Neymaris.
I'm going to move up to the other orc.
You're going to move up to the orc. Neymaris moves into melee combat.
Still going to be the reckless.
Yeah, you can. It's every first attack on every round you can reckless.
All right, and I'm still raging.
Yep, you're still raging. So you roll 2d20s. Take the highest.
18.
How much?
18.
18 plus 4, 22. That's a hit. Roll for damage. 1d12 plus 2.
12.
12 damage. Neymaris, how do you want to do this? You only had 10 left.
Nice.
I lift up my axe and I just swing it and lop him right through the middle, and he just goes splat into that.
So she
Nice,
one-handed,
like,
not even two-handed. Neymaris, you hit. You see this probably most clearly because you got a decent line of sight, and you watch her just sort of saunter up to this behind this orc and one-handed with her great axe, swing it across, coming crossways through the midsection of the orc, and it's almost like he lifts almost momentarily in the air, and you see the blood between the two body parts, between his waist and his leg at the top of his pretty much in that midsection. It almost like it's still joined. It sort of lifts almost in slow motion, and then the body sort of just drops down onto the ground in front of her, and the legs stand there for a little bit, take half a step forward before they sort of fall forward towards Gillian, spraying Gillian with all manner of goop and blood and guts all over Gillian's nice trousers and boots. And yeah, she's standing there, she's breathing heavy, the eyes are still that brilliant sort of red yellow glow, and she's just fully raged still. She's just breathing heavy and grimacing, and she's just covered in blood. Her whole, from the previous attacks, her face she's covered from head to toe, virtually in blood. And that is where we will call it for this episode, guys. There is a bit more to this fight to go. I didn't think that it would be quite that difficult. I'm so sorry, but well
good.
done.
Difficult's awesome.
Yeah, well done, guys. No one was made unconscious. It was a close call there. But I will take a photo of. I'm probably just going to leave this as it is and just mark where I've got to put the next creatures. But you've got the 3 goblins in the center of the cavern, and you've heard more voices. So there's a few more creatures to go. But again, well done, everyone. The role playing tonight was top notch. You guys are doing so well. Trashy, exceptional role play from you, dude. You've really come out of your shell. Impressive. Savage, dude. Awesome, man. Glad you've joined the group. Yeah, you missed it, Chicky. We're just finishing up. But again, the VOD will be replayed over the next 2 weeks, so you can see it either there or on the YouTube. It'll go up on YouTube in a couple of days' time. Again, Baz, thanks, dude. I know you got an early start. Cheers for sticking it out for the extra 20 minutes or so.
All good, no hassle.
And everyone else, thank you for the chatters that stopped by, the viewers. You guys are awesome, and we hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. As I said, just before you guys go, we'll dish out a bit of XP for the evening. There's going to be some bonus XP for roleplay. So hopefully you guys will level up, which will get you a little bit easy, make it a little bit more interesting for the next battle, which is still to come. So for the orcs, Nutty, can you calculate this for me, please? Because we'll split it between all of you. So you get 200 XP for both orcs.
Just want to make calculation.
Actually, so I got 300 XP so far for the orcs and the bears. For the orcs and the bear. I'm going to dish out an additional 100 XP for each player for roleplay. So just divide the 300 by the 4. And then add 100 to that, and that'll be XP for the night. So it'll be something like 100. It'll be 133-ish, I think.
175.
Well, there you go. 100, rounded up. 175 XP for each player. At least hope Shicky's on next time. Yeah, I said Shicky, it'll be played. We're gonna be replaying this episode throughout the next 2 weeks. So if you can catch a replay, that's awesome. Otherwise, it'll be up on YouTube within the next 2 or 3 days. And yeah, so we'll be back in 2 weeks, guys. Again, I'll let everyone know the date so that everyone can let me know whether they can or can't make it. Again, applause for the roleplay tonight, guys. Absolutely amazing. As I say, Trashman, you've come out of your shell with your roleplay. It was good to see. As usual, Nutty's accent was spot on. That accent gets me every time. It makes me giggle every time I hear it. And everyone could hear tonight, with the exception of a couple of different parts there. So, but with that XP, do you guys level up? I think most of you do.
No.
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 You got level 2?
We're all at got level 2 anyway.
I see level 2. So
I'm almost to. I'm over halfway.
You're over halfway. Okay. So we don't not quite level up, but we're getting we must be getting close. What 600 for the next level for you guys?
900.
900. So you're about halfway, maybe.
Yes, roughly halfway.
Roughly halfway. So hopefully this next encounter and back to the guild will probably get you guys the rest of the way to your next level. And Gillian, you'll definitely get to level 2 by the next episode. So that'll be cool. But yeah, once again, thank you so much to everyone for stopping by and hanging out with us tonight. We did run a little bit overtime due to the battle, getting to the battle, but the roleplay getting there was absolutely worth it. I will be writing up recaps and everything over the next few days, and we will get back into it in a couple of weeks. Players, thank you again.
Everyone.
Cheers, Baz.
See you, dude.
We'll catch you on Saturday, dude.
See ya.
Yes, you will indeed. See you.
No worries, bud.
Bye.
See ya.
So, better go back to main screen. We'll come back here. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Yeah, so amazing, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys in the chat enjoyed it as well. Still getting used to the battle map. The reason I don't have the camera on the battle map because my microphone's here and I'm over there off camera doing stuff with the battle map, so it was just easy not having the camera. So hopefully you guys were able to hear me okay with the turning and stuff. I may look at moving my microphone for next one to accommodate for it, just to make it a bit easier. Trashman, you need to get better dice. Your dice suck, man. Or you get a better way of rolling them. Get a dice tray or something.
Yeah, might have to.
Just so it might be easy. I don't know. It just might be just straight bad luck. Who knows? You gave him 2.
Yeah, he did.
So while we're still here, we're not. We're going to pretty much end the stream there anyway. But has anyone got any questions before we go? Hey, Jebin, thank you very much. Appreciate your guys' support too. Like all the Trashies family that have stopped by tonight and hung out with us. You guys are absolutely amazing. The support that you guys give the channel is really cool. Appreciate the subs we got tonight. Reaper of War, I know you're not here, dude, but if you see this VOD, dude, you're awesome.
He's here. He's watching from.
He'll be lurking.
One of the...
Blame Tassie. But yeah, there's still a few of us here. But Reaper, yeah, dude. Thank you so much for your sub and for the 2 gifted subs as well. That's awesome, dude. I mean, I think that put us up to back up to 10 subs, which is really awesome. Because all that money, the money from the subs goes back into the channel. That will go towards buying minis, buying more maps and things for the game. So if you can sub, please do. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you have Twitch Prime, you can sub for free. It does not cost you anything to sub with Twitch Prime apart from your Prime subscription, but it doesn't auto renew. So if you do sub with Twitch Prime, remember you have to renew manually. Just a quick reminder there. So any questions before we finish up? I got 10-15 minutes to answer any questions about the campaign. I can't go into too much details about backstories because we want to sort of reveal that as we go. But for those that are sort of joining us tonight for the first time, I can give you a bit more of an in-depth recap on what's happening, the realms, the characters, things like that. Appreciate the comments about my terrible Scottish accent. It was sort of switching between Scottish and Irish throughout the conversation, but it was all right. I've been wanting to do that for a little while, so it was good to actually give it a go. Players got any questions as well?
No, I'm pretty good.
Not really.
But Savage, yeah, you did well, man. I'm gonna love bringing your backstory into the forefront a little bit more.
It'll be fun.
I think so, and I think it'll help with group dynamic as well. It's going to be, I think that is probably, and Neymaris' story. Those 2 stories are probably going to be the more pivotal sort of stories to the game. I think
It's already playing a factor.
Oh, it is. I wasn't going to introduce it straight away, like the cat. I wasn't going to bring that in quite so soon, but I thought, no, I'll do a bit of a test run with it. Do I ever play NPCs yourself if someone is missing? I can do. Like, I had considered playing Aslan's character tonight, but sometimes as a DM, it's just easier to have them go off and do something different, because I play a lot of the other NPCs. Playing a PC it can get a little confusing, and it depends on the player themselves as well. Like, if a player is happy for me to take over their character and play it as if they would, then generally I would. But 9 times out of 10, yeah, they said if someone's missing. If you were missing, I wouldn't play your character.
I think what he was talking about, like, and add NPCs.
No.
Add, like, say we were like going like a dragon or something. If you'd add players. Or something.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can add other players, allies. I can bring extra players as a one-shot player as well to make up numbers if we have a bigger thing. But like, if people are away, for instance, Aslan's away tonight, I could have played his character. Chose not to. It's sometimes easier not to play the character than play the character, but I intend on bringing other characters into the game and have me play them as well. Like, there will be ally characters that they will have on certain adventures where it's kind of like they have to take that particular PC along. Then there'll be other times where I might bring in a guest player for one episode where, let's say one of you guys are interested in playing D&D, you've never played before, and you want to sort of test it out. We could bring someone in as a guest player, create a character specifically for them for that particular episode. Things like that. That's easy enough to do. I mean, essentially, Dungeons and Dragons as a whole is you're only limited by your imagination, and that's characters, that's story. That's how you introduce different aspects of the game, different aspects of the characters, and things like that. So it's an awesome game. I love the game. I've loved D&D for years, and this whole streaming thing's given me the opportunity to run my own campaign and do something I've not done before. So the whole DMing thing's relatively new to me as well, so it's a little bit scary as well, but thoroughly enjoying it too. And I say your guys' support is the key. The fact that you guys take the time out of your evening to come and hang out with us, sit in front of a computer screen or in front of a TV on the Xbox or wherever, and just hang out and listen to us nerds play Dungeons and Dragons, basically.
And I'm a noob, so.
I mean, and I'm still learning the DMing thing. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to misunderstand spells and misunderstand rules, and we'll muddle our way through it. But that's what the game's about as well. It's about players and DMs sort of working together to come up with something that's entertaining and fun, ultimately, which is really cool. And yeah, it's just how it is. But if any of you guys in the chat after advice on how to play, or if you want me to run another character creation tutorial or another run through on creating your own spells or anything through D&D Beyond, hit me up in the Discord, let me know, and I'll quite happily do that on my Mixer channel. I'm more than happy to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. So you had a 2.5 year campaign, had 4 regular, about 4 intermittent, was great fun. Yeah. And that's it, Jebin. I mean, I remember this campaign that I'm running, that my brother runs, that my character just died in, has been running for a year already, give or take. And I think most of us are only just hitting level 6. So it's been a long campaign, but we're sort of paying sort of twice a month, the same as what we're doing here. So it does take a little bit longer to get through things. And we have up to 9 players. So it does make combat a little bit long-winded at times, but it works as well. And it's a lot of fun. And that's where I'll be going this coming Saturday. We've got another. It's my brother's birthday, so he wants to do more D&D for his birthday, so it works out fine for me. I'm more than happy to be joining that. It may even be a one shot. We're not sure yet, but I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I really do. And trashy shit rolls just make it all the more entertaining.
Screw the lot of you.
I was worried, dude. Honestly,
Your turn this week.
I was worried, man. I was seriously worried that you were going to get yourself killed.
I thought I was going to die.
What I've noticed is during the fiddly bits and all that, I have shit rolls. During combat, I usually provide.
But your rolls have been
Yes.
terrible.
Yes, they suck. Suck bad.
I mean, I had to make some adjustments on the fly, so that you guys didn't die. I didn't anticipate that 2 orcs and a bear would be quite so strong. But that's the good thing about D&D, and being a good DM has been able to make those changes where it still makes it a difficult fight, but doesn't make it deadly. Like I said, it was a little bit unfortunate we didn't quite get to the cave a little bit quicker than we did, but it means we can pick it up first thing. It means we're straight into some action straight off the back for the next episode too, which is really good.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Could Aslan technically join us?
Yes, he could. If he turned up to if he was here for the next show, essentially what would happen is I would write him in as have been following you guys. He dealt with his personal stuff and then caught up with you guys. Well, basically followed you in, and he could then enter the combat and enter the initiative order based on that. Like he knows where you guys are going. It was marked on your maps. Essentially, you guys have all got a map of the area. It was marked on your map. He knows where you're going. He was there at the contract signing. So he knows where the base of the mountains are. He knows how to get to the camp. He can then talk to someone at the camp. Because what I can do is when he joins us, hopefully he is able to join us next week, in the next fortnight. When he joins us, what I'd probably do is have a separate dialogue with him and Gimby at the camp.
Okay.
As a almost like a sidebar or side story flashback type thing, slightly different time frame. But what it would probably be is he'll be getting to the camp about now, like in the timeline. Good night, Terasu. Thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. See you in a couple of weeks. So essentially what's happened, you guys have gotten this far into the cavern and have done this portion of the fight. And my timeline with Aslan would be that he's just now reached the mining camp.
Oh, okay.
And is making his way to the cavern. And he'll then obviously hear sounds of, once he gets into the cabin, he'll get that first 100 or so feet and he'll hear the sounds of combat and then basically come running. So as you guys engage the next lot of, probably engage the goblins as they've been revealed, then we can introduce Aslan as coming in sort of maybe halfway through that first initiative round.
Okay. I was just kind of interested.
What was that, Mumbly?
I said I'm gonna go bed.
No worries. Thanks, Nate.
See you guys tomorrow probably.
Bye, Nutty.
Bye.
But yeah, so yes, there's a lot of ways you can add and take out PCs, NPCs, and again, it's just part of the story. I said a lot of the stuff is ad lib. You sort of wing it a little bit. Like I said, I sort of added in off the cuff your first interaction with the White Panther. We've then sort of touched a little bit on your backstory with your fear. Then again, the interactions between you guys sort of determine what happens too. I mean,
Right.
if Neymaris hadn't approached you being as big as what she was, you never would have had to make that first wisdom saving throw. So that whole aspect of that part of the story may never have happened. So it's what happens. You guys determine a lot of it as well.
Eating the panther.
Well, yeah. I mean, all these little interactions give me ideas for the next part of the story. like I said, the good thing about this is the recap is going to be really easy for me to write this week because it's essentially just giving you a rundown of leading up to this point in the game. Night. So that'll be an easy recap for next week. The good thing about it is I don't have to change the map. I can just leave everything as it is, and just.
I kind of took on the whole personality trait of if someone's in trouble, I'm ready to help.
Well, that's essentially who you are, and that's what I got from your backstory as well. And that's why.
Alright, cool. I'll get your pickaxe.
Yeah, well, that's why I sort of thought. But also, too, that's why I did what I did with Wisdom Saving Throw. I could have had you make that Wisdom Saving Throw every turn to see if you shake off the fear. But then I thought, well, no, what we could do, again, mainly because of your backstory, what I chose to do was, instead of making you make that roll every turn, was if you fail a roll initially, if you see a friend or an ally being in a dangerous situation or hurt, that snaps you out of it. Because essentially that's what you've done in the past. You blindly try and be the nice guy. You blindly try and help wherever it's needed. Whether that means you get your face punched in or you whatever. It's just you generally, the moment you see someone that you're aligned with or care about injured in any way, then you instantly become almost adrenaline filled and you want to help. So that fear, it negates that fear that you have based on your backstory. So, and we'll get into that. It'll definitely come out. When it comes out, I'm not sure, but it'll definitely come out. But like I said, the role play tonight was awesome. That was probably the best part. The interactions between Het and Alessandros was amazing. That campfire scene was probably the best, the best one so far. I didn't expect that to happen at all, but that was awesome. So yeah, that was just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Awesome dice rolls, huh?
Well, the dice rolls, I mean, that just made it even funnier. And I think that's the best part about it, is that even as much as you think you might have a brilliant idea, if the dice don't play ball, it can change the dynamic and the outcome of everything. But on that note, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to have something to eat and a drink. And we will see you guys back here for D&D in 2 weeks. I will be back tomorrow morning on Mixer, possibly playing some Division 2 maybe. I'm not sure yet, but I'll be 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, New Zealand time, which will be like early afternoon, early evening for you, Savage.
Okay.
And then
I'll
again,
be waking up then.
Yeah, and then obviously Tuesday night back into our regular night schedule, doing other things. I'm going to probably throw some Battlefield 4 back in trash on night ones.
Cool.
I've been playing a bit of Battlefield 4 lately, but it's hard to find a server in the morning, so I'll probably have to run night to see if we can get onto some OC servers. Actually did pretty well. I went 38, well, pretty much even 38-28, I think it was in the end, on a Conquest. It was actually pretty good. I haven't played for ages. But without further ado, we're going to say thank you and good night, and we will see you guys in a couple of weeks back here for D&D and regular schedule over on Mixer. So if you've got nothing better to do, come and hang out with us, Mixer or Twitch or the Discord. Until then, have fun.